gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil, plus Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, Sublime, Danny Elfman, Baby Metal, Public Enemy, Circa Survive, and so many more. 4 days, 135 plus bands, 5 stages. Aftershock takes over Discovery Park October 1st through 4th. My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil. All 4-day, single day, and premium passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down. Get yours at AftershockFestival.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
Jackson. Dust off your leg warmers and light up the night. It's time for our Bingo Glow Show, the 17th. With over $10,000 in prizes, the stakes have never looked so bright. Score a cash jackpot of $1,199. Let's glow.
Let's go.
Fire up those taste buds with a new kitchen gadget, a hot dog roller, cast iron fajita plate, or even a burger press with a cheese melting dome. Earn 1,000 points on your Dreamcatchers Club card, and you'll score that week's gift, Thursdays or Fridays, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Let's eat.
Everybody knows Jackson's where you go. Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
Let's go. Ignite your night with games and gifts at Jackson.
Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Available at Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard.
Out here in the middle of all these acres, it can feel like you're the only person on earth. And sometimes that's how it feels when you're going through tough times. Trouble sleeping, your mind racing. So what do? We get help. There are people in our community who are here for us. Sometimes just talking to someone can make all the difference in the world. Find more information at loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento. Sacktown. And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been? You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you are well. We talk about the Natty last night, the Kings and the Warriors. The San Francisco Giants continue to fall early in the season in the NL West. The A's open up a road trip in New York tonight against the Yanks. 3 games, and then they'll go play the Mets. 69-63 last night. Michigan wins the national championship. And here's my question of the day. What the heck has happened to basketball in this country? Seriously, what has happened to the game of basketball? I waited all year to watch that last night. What a disgrace. Seriously. UConn. They shoot 31% from the floor. They shoot 27% from 3, 9 of 33. Michigan, who's holding the trophy at the end of the game. That's right, the national champions of college basketball. The best team in the land. Win the Natty, shooting 38% and 13% from 3. That's right. They took 15 threes, they made 2. And this is the college three-point line. The game from grade school on up needs to be fixed. The way the game is played in America needs to be overhauled. How often do we talk about this in the NBA? The greatest league on the land, the greatest league in the world. Often. What do we say? It's a make-or-miss league. And now it's a make-or-miss three-point league. And how many times, well, you know this if you're a Kings fan, I don't have to tell you how bad the three-point shooting has been this year. You're telling me that the best players in the world shoot so many bad percentages. And I'm watching the college championship game last night, and I wanted to turn it off so many times because I got disgusted by it. Because I didn't have a rooting interest. I'm like, I don't really care. I wish I had turned it off. I really do. I'm so tired of watching the way the game is played now. I really am. I'm so tired of it. And I mean that where, like, I don't ever recall turning off as many basketball games now at any time in my life. I'm just done. I'm like, what is going on? That's the way basketball is supposed to be played? Seriously. I'm looking at Connecticut, and I'm looking at 33 three-point attempts. 33. And you made 9. How about getting to the free throw line? You only got to the line 16 times. Oh, and by the way, you missed 4 of those. Michigan, they did get UConn in foul trouble. They did get to the line 28 times, and they made 25. They didn't have to shoot as many threes because they were scoring from inside and on the foul line when they had to. But seriously, 15 threes and you only make 2? And you win the national championship shooting 38%. It's not only the three-point shooting I'm talking about, it's the overall shooting. And I've seen this as a trend in college basketball. I'm watching a national championship game, and I'm watching 2 teams that can't even shoot 40%. And one of the teams is in the low 30s. It's awful. It's terrible. It really is. It's absolutely terrible. And I watch it on the big boy level too. This message, UConn fought through, made it interesting late in the second half. Fought through what? What do you mean they made it interesting? You mean from a score point of view? Yes, they did. From a score perspective, yes. But you think that's good basketball? You think the way the game is played now is good? You think it's the way it used to be? Do you think that it's a sport that is trending in the right direction? Or do you think it's a sport that needs to be reevaluated, changes made to it, and the acknowledgement that the game can be played better? You know, we always talk about fundamentals in this country, and what do we always say? Boy, the European players, they come in, they're so much more fundamentally skilled. Max Reynaud. Just, you watch him play here in Sacramento. So many of the other foreign-born players, they come into this country and they're already superior with their skill level. Why can't we say that about the players in this country? What do we say about young players that come into the NBA? Excuse me. We say that, well, doesn't shoot the ball very well from three. Doesn't do this, doesn't do that. Right? Oh, great athlete. Tremendous athlete. Has a lot of upside. But the shot is skeptical. Look at Devin Carter. Right? I mean, I can go on and talk about this. What have we said about a multiple-time MVP in the NBA, Russell Westbrook? What's been the nemesis of him throughout his career? His perimeter shooting. That's why it is such a pleasure to watch DeMar DeRozan play. Because DeMar can score the way you're supposed to score and the way the game is meant to be played. Back to the basket, posting up, mid-range jumper, creating space. Doesn't live and die by the three. You need a 20-foot jumper? Give the ball to DeMar. Need an 18-foot, 15-foot elbow jumper? Give the ball to DeMar. You need a little baseline pop from 17? Give the ball to DeMar. Not a lot of players in the league can do that. And my question is, why can't they do that? I'll tell you why they can't do that. Because if you drive to any schoolyard in America, if you go to any gym in America, whether it's organized or a pickup game, go to any of your recreational gyms, whether it's the YMCA or Lifetime Fitness, go anywhere indoors where there are basketball courts. Go to the great basketball facilities that our youth play in this area. And what do you see? You see the ball rebounding, right? Ricocheting off the rim and the backboard all the way off the court. And you see players running after the ball because they're all shooting 25-foot jumpers. That's what you see now. You don't see anybody at the foul line practicing their free throws. You don't see any players like DeMar DeRozan, making believe that they have a defender on their back, trying to create space and shooting a fadeaway 15, 18-footer. You won't see that in any gym or any schoolyard in America. You don't. Give me the ball, pass me the ball, and I'm going to shoot a 25-foot shot. That's where we're at with basketball in America. And when I watch, supposedly, the two best games in America, the two best teams in America, playing for all of the marbles, and I'm looking at those shooting percentages, and I'm looking at a team like UConn, who keeps firing and firing and firing away. It's unbelievable. Well, we keep winning gold medals. Well, you haven't won gold medals in every Olympics, all right? Manu Ginobili beat you years ago, and Argentina beat Team USA. The game last year against France was very, very close. Memo, the world has caught up to America in basketball. They haven't passed America. They've caught up to them. Okay? Serbia has caught up to America in basketball. France has caught up to America in basketball. That is the reality of the situation. May not have passed America, but they've caught up to them. When Team USA in the Olympics is playing the best around the world, they're not blowing them out anymore. The games are very competitive. And really, including last year's gold medal game against France, you saw what happened. Steph Curry saved the day. That's the one thing Europe does not have. They don't have a Steph Curry. So, if you think that the barometer is who's winning the gold medals and there's not a problem, then you need to come out into the daylight, take your blindfold off, and look at what's going on. Okay? Agree or disagree with me? 916-779-0929. In the next segment, I'll bring Rhino in and we'll talk more about this. Sean Salisbury coming up today after Grand Slam. If you are a fan of the San Francisco Giants, I ask you, at what point do you start getting nervous? At what point do you go, uh-oh, okay? Maybe Tony Vitello is not the right guy for the job. They can't hit. There's too many strikeouts. There's too many, I guess, I don't know. Everybody's trying to hit a 5-run homer instead of getting on base. They're not drawing walks. They strike out too much. And I understand it's 11 games in. But they are now 3 wins and 8 losses. That's right, 3-8. And they're already 5.5 games and 6 games in the loss column behind the Dodgers. Last night, they blew a 4-0 lead. The bullpen couldn't hold down the Phillies. And the Phillies end up with a 4-run, was it 6th? And they win the game. And now the Giants are 3-8. And I'm already starting to hear the heat on the rookie skipper, both from members of the media and the fans. Are you nervous if you're a Giants fan? I would love to know. Are you a little concerned with what you're seeing? Or do you think it's just one of those things, it's a bad start? You got 151 games left, or 100 and... Yeah, you got 151 left. I mean, I'm seriously, what do you think? What do you think? Is it just a bad start, or is there a reason for the bad start? In other words, did Buster Posey and the Giants make a mistake by hiring a manager that last year was at Tennessee? Do we need another 20 to 30 games before we say that? I mean, if you think about the division, not only are you 6 games back in a loss column, but no team in the division has more than 6 losses, including the Colorado Rockies, except for you, and you have 8 losses. All right, the A's, they're 3-6. They've been up and down at the lineup. They're in New York tonight, take on the Yankees, then they go to play the Mets. The Astros currently at 6-5 in a very well-balanced division through the first 10 and 11 games. Astros, Angels, 6-5, Texas 5-5, Seattle off to a bad start, 4-7, and then the A's at 3-6. Better be careful this road trip for the A's. Again, we talk about getting buried early. I know it's a long, long season, but you don't want to get buried this early. All right. So we've got the Kings tonight and the Warriors. Thank goodness there are only 3 games left. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. And then we can start on Monday about what to do with this roster, this coaching staff, with this functional organization to get out of the doldrums. Already, thank goodness, the final week of the regular season. Thank goodness. Jazz tonight play in New Orleans. They're currently tied with Sacramento. No DeMar DeRozan tonight. The Kings may get blown out tonight, which is whatever. At this point, does it really matter what anything happens? Does it matter? It doesn't matter. Nothing. Get me to the finish line so we don't have to talk about it anymore. That's where I'm at. And I think the fans are that way too, which is so sad. It's so sad, but that's where we're at. Get to the finish line. And then figure out what you're going to do with this team in the offseason. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. So let's talk about that. 916-779-0929, round one of the Masters coming up on Thursday. Who do you like? Who is going to win the green jacket this year? What do you think? Again, round one coming up on Thursday. We'll talk about that. Again, everything else, this is a busy, busy week. But I'd love to know what you think about what you watched last night, but what you're watching every time you turn on basketball in this country, pretty much. It's just brutal. It's brutal. And I've had this complaint particularly with college basketball for a couple of years now. I have trouble watching the game. I just really do. I hate the way the game. I just think the quality of play is terrible. I really do. Compared to the way it used to be, I think it's just way, way, way downhill. All right, what's not downhill is Rhino when it comes to Prize Picks and the cha-ching. Once again, bouncing back last night with a good night, Rhino.
Yeah, had to bounce back. And guess what? It's Taco Tuesday, Napes, on Prize Picks. Do you know what that means?
You tell me.
We get discounted picks. That's right. LaMelo Ball tonight, 12.5 points. That's down from 21.5 points on America's #1 daily fantasy site. Prize Picks, mix and match your sports. Over 100 different ones to choose from. It's super simple. All you do is pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less on their stat projections, and you let them go to work for you. Prize Picks now offers early payouts, which is awesome. You can get paid if your lineup gets off to a good start before the game even finishes. And the social aspect is great as well. Follow me on Prize Picks, Rhino in Sacktown. I will follow you back. I can copy your lineups. You can copy mine. All you got to do, download the Prize Picks app using the code RYNO50, RYNO50, to get $50 in free play after your first $5 play. That's right, 50 free, whether you win or lose on your first play. $50 of free play. Tonight, we are going more than 12.5 points for Lonzo Ball, and for LaMelo Ball, and we are going more than 2.5 rebounds for Davion Mitchell. A $20 play gets you paid $60 there. So let's get in on it. Prize Picks. Download the app. Use the code RYNO50, RYNO50. Prize Picks. Predict. Cash.
Davion Mitchell used to play for the Kings, right?
Yes, he did. Davion Mitchell.
So give me that site again for Prize Picks, please.
Yeah, go to Prize Pick or download the Prize Picks app. And prizepicks.com, whatever you want to do, use the code RYNO50, and you'll get $50 in free play after your first $5 lineup.
All right, perfect. When we come back, I want to talk to you about the game last night and about what I said in my opening remarks. We'll do that next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are Fox Sports.
Building friendships and bonding with family. It's what people experience during a day out at Golden State Shooting Center. Only moments outside of Sacramento. Golden State Shooting Center is a favorite for those who love the sport of trap, skeet, and sporting clay target shooting. It's also where the California Youth Sport Shooting Association trains and competes. New teams are being formed, and if you've got a son or daughter in high school, they can compete for college scholarships. Learn more at goldenstateshootingcenter.com or call 916-539-8544.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Get them at Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Remember, always be generous with the nutmeg. Just eyeball it.
Okay.
Mom's wisdom has served you well, but now it may be your turn to guide her.
Hey, I'm worried about Mom. She keeps forgetting her famous sweet potato pie recipe.
Some things come with age, sis.
And some don't.
Knowing the early signs of Alzheimer's in a loved one will help you make the best decisions for your family. Visit 10signs.org to learn the signs. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back with you. Grant Napear, Fox Sports Sacramento. Sean Salisbury after Grant's rant. What do you think, folks? What do you want to talk about? I want to talk to Ryan right now. My comments about the way the game is played now, agree or disagree? Did you watch the whole game last night? If you watched parts of it, your thoughts on what I had to say.
Yeah, I watched most of it. The only time I wasn't watching, I was listening because of the commute home.
Yep.
I am part of the, minority here that likes slugfest, that likes defense. And I thought last night was just that. I mean, you can say it was poor offense, but first off, just because they're being paid like pros doesn't mean that they're not still kids, because they are. That's a massive stage to be on, number one. And number two, I thought they had to fight for everything, scrapped for almost everything. There was not very many wide open lanes to the basket, not a ton of wide open looks. There was a couple towards the end for UConn, but I actually enjoyed the game.
I enjoyed the competitiveness of the game. I don't enjoy the way the game. That's my general gripe on all of college basketball. When I watch college basketball now, I just see poor shooting. I don't see quality play. I just don't. The game has changed so much to me. And I'm listening to a lot of people that follow college basketball and have talked about this, and I read stories on this, and I just wonder, like, these college players end up going into the NBA, and every year we talk about it being a three-point shooting league. And yes, the postseason, Ryan, coming up will be different than the regular season with the way the game is played, and maybe we'll talk about it differently. But what's our big gripe when we're doing the postgame shows every night is how many nights do we have poor shooting in the games, right? I mean, it's just almost universal now.
Yeah.
When I mean in this country.
Yeah. Now, I am 100% willing to have that conversation with you about the way that the college game is played throughout the season and what we see in the NBA now, because I'm on board with what you said, but I just didn't think that was it last night. I thought last night it was really for the people that like that physical slugfest, the nuance of watching guys fight for position. Elliot Cadeau, the way that he operated within that and still ran that Michigan team to a championship. I thought it was good. But no, basketball has a major problem, Grant. When we grew up, and I'm 41, not crazy old, the first half of practice for at least the first couple weeks of the season, you wouldn't even shoot the basketball.
Yep.
It was all about fundamentals, and that's where we are lost with this game.
When I see a combined three-point shooting of 11 of 48, that tells me something. When I see a combined field goal percentage, all right, of what is it? Both teams made 21 field goals. So 42 had 68 and 55. What does that give you? 141? I mean, or excuse me, 60, that's 110, 118, 123. 42 of 123.
Okay, but
and we're going to talk about how great the defense was, which I agree. They were battling. UConn got in foul trouble. Michigan was able to get inside, draw fouls, get to the foul line. But, like, I'm not just going to put that all on the defense. I'm sorry. And the reason why I'm not is whenever I watch college basketball, almost every single time I walk away saying the same thing to myself. I said it last year. I said it the year before. And I want to talk to Jerry Reynolds about this on our postgame show coming up because he's coached in college. He follows the game, although not as closely as he once did. I want to get his thoughts. We'll be on after the Warriors game tonight. I think you're off tonight, but I'll be on with Jerry, and I'm going to talk to him about that because I think it's a real alarming trend in this country with the sport of basketball. And how often, Ryan, have we talked about with Jerry that they need to change the way the game is played? The game is not trending well. It's not. I don't know if anyone can argue with that. The money's trending well. The owners are continuing to see their valuations go up. But other than that, Ryan, and I mean this, I'm not trying to be a wise guy here. Other than the valuation of organizations, what else is good about the NBA right now?
Not a ton per se. Victor Wembanyama, changing of a guard perhaps between this last generation, which you saw some spectacular things, but in between those spectacular things, you saw some awful basketball as well.
Okay, so there's Victor Wembanyama, there's Nikola Jokic, and again, we can name, let's just say 5 or 10 players, so we'll put into that category without naming them all. Other than that, what's good about the NBA? What's the talk? Oh, gee, tanking,
well, this
not
year
playing the minimum
especially.
games,
Right?
Bad shooting, not competitive on every night. Steve Kerr complaining about the length of the season. Charles Barkley talking about the game being poorly played. Other former NBA players criticizing the game. Kevin Durant at the All-Star break. We're hearing from players, current and mostly former, along with media members, talking about what's wrong with the game, the complaints of the game, instead of what's good about the game. The valuation of the franchises is good if you have a stake in it, but I don't care about the valuation of the Kings. Why would I care about that? I don't give a damn how much money the owners are making because I'm not an owner and it doesn't affect me. I don't care. Like we keep on hearing about the valuation of teams. Why would I care about the valuation of a team? I don't care. I don't profit in it. I don't give a damn what the valuation of a team is. I care about the product. Look at it. Look at how many empty seats are in the arena right now. Now, I understand the Kings have one of the worst records in the league, but like fans aren't even going out to watch the other players play now on the other teams unless it's, as you said, a Victor Wembanyama, who you went out and watched a couple of weeks ago. You made a point to make sure you didn't miss that game.
Yeah.
You probably weren't going to go to the game the other night if Zion Williamson wasn't playing, or I think other people went to see him play. And then you come out and you're like, wow, Jeremiah Fears, I'm really impressed with him. And you're probably really happy you watched him in person.
100%. And, I'm also on the fringe because I'm a basketball sicko. I can find something that's going to satisfy me, or at least something that I'm going to stick onto, even if you've got a bunch of back end players playing. In that case, you didn't really have a ton of them because both teams ran their second units out for the most part. I guess it's two places, right? It starts with how the game is managed at a young age.
Correct.
Where, it's more practice than it is games. Now, if you talk to anybody who has a child that plays traveling or AAU, I mean, you're playing so many games in so many different places, 52 weeks a year, right? So we can get into that conversation where players are not playing multiple sports. They're specializing on one thing. And even within that sport, they're specializing on that one thing, whether it's 3-point shooting, etc. Now, to the
Stop right there. That's all they're specializing in. You don't see, again, go to any gym in America, inside or outside, and just spend Just go out, just pull up in your car. You don't have to get out of your car. Look through the window and see, watch what's going on.
Well,
and what are you watching? You're watching 3-point shooting.
It's the equalizer for the guys that are not 6'6", 7'1", 7'4". If you can shoot the basketball, it's a ticket to the party.
Steph
right?
Curry.
Exactly right. So we can have that discussion, or we can have the NBA discussion, which starts with Adam Silver. It has to start at the top. And I'm not knocking Adam Silver for not changing the game to make it more appealing. But when you see when a casual basketball fan watches a little bit of the regular season and then watches the postseason, they notice distinct differences in how the game is called, how it's officiated. You can't have that. It needs to be a consistent product throughout the year.
I agree.
And that's coming directly from the commissioner telling the refs, hey, let them play a little more.
Said, I agree, Grant. I used to be a huge college basketball fan, and I rarely watch anymore. I'm the same. I can't watch it. I think the quality of play is terrible. Said AAU needs to take a step back. Seems like it's more suited for kids who have access and some dollars nowadays. I mean, the root of the problem is exactly what Ryan said. It starts at that level. I don't think there's any question about that.
And most of, I would tell you this for sure, because I have friends that are D1 coaches. A lot of this recruiting comes from camps. It comes from AAU. The old school of recruiting at the high school level is still there, but it was not everything
like it used to be.
Like it used to be. Exactly right.
Yeah. No question about that. What do you think, folks? 916-779-0929. Whether we agree or disagree about the game last night, I think we agree on this. The game needs to be looked at with a magnifying glass. And some bold decisions need to be made by those in the position to do so, where they have to take a hard look and say, this is not where we want to be as a sport. And the problem with that is I hear Adam Silver come out and talk about how great the game is all the time. And I think Adam Silver is either living in a cave, naive, which he's not. I think Adam Silver understands that he's doing his job because the 30 owners are in love with how much money they're making. And that's the only thing that matters to Adam Silver. And I really mean this. And he'll just be fine thinking that the game is in great shape, blah, 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 when it's not. As commissioner of the NBA, you cannot ignore former media members, former players in your league, now in the media, that are criticizing your league, some current players who are criticizing it, national media members who constantly criticize your game, fans that are criticizing. You can't ignore all of that just because the league is making money hand over foot. Okay, you can't. There's an obligation when you're a sports commissioner to deal with the integrity of the game and all the other parameters. Listen, as much as I've been on Rob Manfred, you know what? He saw that the game is broken. And he tried to change some things that were drastic. Okay? Drastic. DH and universal. No shift.
Runners on second.
Yeah, the ghost run. The pitch clock.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
The speed of the game. I mean, I'm not in love with all of it, but at least, you know what? At least the commissioner of Major League Baseball said, we've got a problem here. I'm looking at my ratings. I'm looking at the complaints. I'm looking at the national media. I'm looking at the sport being talked about in a negative way. We need to do something. We need to make changes. And again, whether you like the changes or not, that's up for debate. But at least they did something. What's the NBA do? The NBA doesn't do anything. They don't do anything.
You know,
what do they do? They keep every year we go to the NBA broadcast meetings. They keep putting up these analytic charts every year, talking about how the game was moving farther and farther away from the basket. Every single year, they would put up these charts.
Grant, it's Steve Kerr's argument for less games.
How is less games going to affect that?
Well, I can't say one way or the other, but that's
It's
his
not.
argument. It's you
But
have
it's not.
guys covering more distance, right? Because
It's a bunch of
everybody's
crap.
playing on the perimeter.
It's a bunch of nonsense. Less games is not going to all of a sudden change the way the game is played. That's not going to do a damn thing to the game. You want to change the game? Do what Jerry Reynolds said 15 years ago. Take the corner three out of the game. If you really want to change the game for the better, get rid of the corner three. As Jerry's been saying now for a long time, it's too easy of a shot for the NBA, and the game is never meant to be played to have a 3-on-1 fast break and a player missing or not attempting a wide-open layup to kick the ball out for a three-point shot. That's not the way the game's supposed to be played.
I think Adam Silver, and I said this jokingly, but I really mean it, I think he's ran out of David Stern's ideas. Like Steve Jobs and Apple, and now he is on his own, and he doesn't know which way to go. And I'll throw another alternative at you. This has really grown on me. It was something that I thought of. Cap the three-pointers. You have this many three-pointers per game that you can shoot. Now, if you hit that number and you keep making them, you can keep shooting them. But the second you miss one, you're done with threes for the game. It makes it more strategic, right? And I think that balances out the floor as well. But for a basketball fan, it has to start at the NBA level because it all trickles down from the NBA with the change. But also fans need to be patient. This isn't going to happen overnight, right? It's kind of like
it's not going to happen overnight. You are 100% correct.
But I think, unfortunately, like you said, there's no movement whatsoever. In fact, the movement's the other way. It's like, look at the numbers that are coming in. It's smoke and mirrors. We have all these problems with rest management, stars not playing. But guess what? Now we're going to expand. We're going to also go over to Europe and have the NBA Europe. It's all smoke and mirrors, like everything's great and fine. And it's not.
Because you know why? Because it's all money. That's all they give a damn about. They don't care about anything else. All right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if this style of the NBA goes over to Europe, they will ruin Europe. In fact, I would be scared if I'm Adam Silver that from a visual standpoint, if NBA Europe launched and they partner with some of the teams that are already over there, it could be a more appealing product to watch.
So somebody just
NBA.
texted me, how do you get rid of the corner three? Very simple. Where the circle, the arc, stops becoming an arc. If you look at a basketball court, the next time you watch a game, look at how the three-point circle is. It's an arc, and then all of a sudden, when the arc stops, it goes to a straight line to the baseline. Remove the straight line. Stop the three-point shot at the conclusion of the arc. Okay? So again, look at the basketball court. Look at the three-point arc. And when the arc turns from a circle or an arc into a straight line, you remove that line, and that is no longer a three-point shot.
Guys are already walking a tightrope. We see that call made almost every game where somebody's heel's out of bounds between the three-point line and the sideline.
Very true. So you take away that line, and when the arc stops, then you draw a line, put a line down from there to the sideline, and anything behind those lines is a three-point shot. All right, we will take the break. We'll talk more about this. Keep the questions coming. The phone calls at 916-779-0929 right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
916-779-0929. Sean Salisbury after Grant's rant. Love the messages. Said, Grant, I was interested to hear your take on the tournament this year. I have to say the past few weeks watching the NCAA tournament has been extremely entertaining. There were some great games, very competitive, very close games. Certainly it's why everyone gets so wrapped up in the NCAA tournament, and I think it was a very good tournament. I think it was exciting. The Duke-UConn game will go down as one of the classics, one of the great finishes in the history of college basketball. The buzzer beaters and everything else. I think that for the most part, I would grade out the tournament as, once again, a success. I'm not crazy about going to 76 teams, and they keep going with more and more. And I just, what are we doing here? Are we just going to include every team in college basketball? I'm not crazy about that. What do you think about that, Ryan, expanding the field again? You a fan of that? Well, we'll get to your answering a phone call. I want to take on that. Why are we expanding everything all the time? Is it just money? I mean, how many teams are capable of winning a national championship? What is the purpose of the NCAA tournament? How many teams are we going to now put in the tournament that have absolutely no chance just to get a high point winning a game and advancing, even though they were only a 12 seed? It's not like they were 16, but seriously, where are we going with this? What is the goal? Is it just to have more games and more money and more revenue? I mean, at what point are we diluting the product? All right, let's get to Anaheim, and we say hello to Ralph. Ralph, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Grant. I'm always fascinated by the comparisons between baseball and where the NBA is at. I think, one thing that I've also enjoyed is, with every team playing every other team now, at least once a year. It's been great. The interleague play, whether it's the Yankees coming to town or watching us go play in Yankee Stadium, like that's great for your local team. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is between the NBA and the MLB, the Stars play a majority of the game. When I saw the stat posted by The Athletic or somewhere on social media floating around, on national TV games for the NBA, it's almost like below 50% on third and ninth, especially on national TV, that the Stars aren't playing in basketball. That's huge. As much as diehards want to see the bench, the casual viewer wants to see the Stars. That's a huge issue whether it's due to injury, due to rest. I think that's a big part of the issue is the lack of Stars playing and in those matchups, especially if it's a national broadcast game. That's where I think baseball is able to distinguish themselves. They're everyday players. They're playing all the time. Otani, and Judges of the world, they're playing.
Listen, when you go to a play on Broadway and you go to the headliners, and you're spending, $300 to $400 a pop, you don't want to see the backup actor or actress. You want to see the stars that are on the billboard. That's why you're paying that kind of money. It's the same thing when you go to the NBA game. And, if someone's genuinely hurt or you're going to a musical and the star has laryngitis, well, that's just the luck of the draw. You get that. But there are just too many nights that NBA players are not playing when they could play, and that's the real issue. Just like the Kings now. I mean, the Kings have several players that could be playing right now, but they're not. And it's a bad look for the league, because what is sports? It's entertainment, especially pro sports, because I'll even keep it to outside of college, even though college has changed now. But, it's entertainment, right? Without the fans and without people watching the games, there is no league. There is no sport. There is no professional leagues. And I just think there are too many people in the NBA in particular that don't keep that in mind. Like, what is the purpose of their existence? The purpose of their existence is entertainment. The purpose of their existence is to play games so that people want to come out and spend money to watch them play, either in person or on television, which will in turn have them buy merchandise, invest more, maybe watch a game on TV, go, wow, I need to be there. I want to go to the next game. I think too many folks in the league forget that. I really do.
Grant, there was this comment I remember Adam Silver making either recently, maybe it was the in-season tournament, which is a whole problem in its own. Adam Silver goes, our social media engagement numbers are as higher than any of the the top three major sports. But us fans aren't watching through social media. Yes, you get highlights, but the value, like you said, is through investing through your team or through watching live sports. Like, what does that mean? That's such a moot point. I was just surprised he mentioned that. As
well, he mentioned that because
they really don't care.
I'm gonna take you inside the reason why he mentioned that. This was a big part of the meetings that I went to annually in New York. They dissect every single part of the pie to find out the audience and everything. And the trend with the younger audience, they're finding that the younger people don't watch games the way maybe you and I used to watch games, or the way we watch games now. And they do use social media primarily to follow their teams and follow their games. And so the NBA has invested a lot into that aspect of their business. And so that's why Adam Silver talks about it, because believe it or not, it is a tremendous resource for the league. And I'm with you. I don't comprehend it as much as I should, but I can only tell you from being in those meetings and seeing all the graphs and all the analytics, and they used to talk about that every single year. And that's where we're at now as a society. People watch games differently now. They get their information differently. They access their information differently. We're all different. And whether you get your information on TikTok and I get my information on YouTube or X or over the air TV or whatever, I mean, we are all accessing our live games and our information differently. That's just the reality of our society today.
Yeah, and I work with kids and youth, and they're not like me, a diehard Kings fan. They follow the players, and and I can see that from the social media aspect. My question, I'll take this off the air, is what do you think of, when we look at highlights throughout the years, the glory days of the Kings and the iconic moments in the NBA, they're rarely ever free throws. What do you think of penalizing intentionally fouling? I know that's a huge strategy. and everything. But that way we get more of those iconic moments and buzzer beaters, especially within the last 2 minutes. That way, you
Well, you
intentionally
can't
foul, you get the ball
intentionally
back.
foul. You can't intentionally foul in the last 2 minutes because it is free throws. It has to be.
No, sorry, but you get the if you foul, then the other team gets the team that's shooting the free throws gets the ball in return, in addition to the free throws.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be a little too drastic for me, but I think you can start with the 3-point, the corner three, and go from there. Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate the phone call very much. Thank you. That's where I'd be. That's how I would look at it. Start with that and go backwards.
Yeah, that's not a play that happens too much in the pros. That's more of a college play.
Yes,
I mean,
it is more of a college play.
how many times have we seen it this year where the Kings have intentionally fouled so they don't shoot a three? I think only 2 or 3 times.
We see some coaches go to the hack shack type of a thing, a hack whomever. We saw it against one of the Knicks players,
Mitchell Robinson.
I think Robinson,
Yep.
who's not a good free. We've seen it a couple times, but you're right. It doesn't happen very often. It really doesn't. What does happen often is a very good success rate when you use Spence at Village Financial Group for your real estate transactions, whether it is buying a home, selling a home, whether it's a home equity line of credit. Spence has been doing this a long time. He is the broker owner of Village Financial Group, and he has access to private money. He's very creative when it comes to financing, and he's somebody to keep in mind if you're going into the real estate market, buying, selling, or, there are a lot of people right now, they're like, wait a minute, man, I'm locked in at a great rate. They're doing a lot of home equity lines of credit. All right. Spence is the guy. Give him a call or text him. He's fine with that. 916-805-4868. Drop him a line, 916-805-4868. Or go online, check out everything that they offer at vfgloans.com. That's vfgloans.com. They've got thousands of available listings available for you to watch. All right, you can go through the whole thing, and you can pick out an area that you're interested in, and you can see every single listing right there on their website. It makes sense to call Spence at 916-805-4868. That's 916-805-4868. Village Financial Group, looking out for your best interest. Kings, Warriors tonight. Bold prediction of the day time. Will the Kings stay within 20 points tonight of the Golden State Warriors?
No.
I'm going to say no, they will not.
No.
I think they will get destroyed tonight.
I think it'll be competitive at halftime, but when we roll around to about the 8-minute point of the fourth quarter, it's going to be at least 16-20 in the Warriors'
And something
favor.
else we didn't talk about earlier this week, because Domantas Sabonis was seen and is back in town, which doesn't surprise me because the season ends on Sunday, and I expected him to be back right at the end of the season, and he is. Whether or not he will do any interviews next week remains to be seen.
I would think he's going to do at least the exit with the press.
Okay, and if the answer to that is no, does that reinforce even further that he will not be on this team next year? Because I think there's very little chance of him being on this team next year.
Certainly. Absolutely. That reinforces.
Okay.
I mean, just the numbers alone, and with the Kings having the season they had, why would you be committed really outside of Max Reynaud to anybody on this roster?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
A bold prediction. Will Domantas Sabonis be a King after the Kings make their first-round draft pick this season?
Great question. I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I think the movement will happen in the period of NBA free agency and that frenzy right around in there. So, yes, that's what I would think.
Needs to be at the front end, though, right?
Yes, absolutely. No question. No question. Yes. Let's talk some baseball when we come back. I've got a lot of messages from Giants fans on my text line. What's going on with the Giants? they have the wrong skipper? Or is there more to it? Is it the players that Buster is comprised, the team of? Is it the skipper? What is it? What's going on with the Giants? A's in New York. That coming up next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Available at Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
That's what we were taught, service before self.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Tell your friends, Grant's back! Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
So the Giants in the NL West are 3-8. Hard to believe their record at home. I mean, they are 1-7 at home. Wow. 1-7 at home. And I think that this message on the text line at 916-779-0929 says it best. Grant, longtime Giants fan from the 60s. I'm nervous they have the worst run differential, worst OBA, worst batting average, worst bullpen in MLB, Pathetic start. Not impressed with the new manager. This one, I could hand you a list of the Giants' batting averages on one sheet and a list of the National League pitchers' batting averages before the DH, and you couldn't tell the difference. I don't think it's quite yet time to panic. All right? I think that we're a little bit too early to use the word panic. But they have lost 4 in a row. They're already 6 back in the loss column of the Dodgers. They're in last place. And the problem that I see with the Giants, well, problems, you can't just mention one. They don't bunt when the opposition's giving them the bunt. They don't walk. They don't get on base. Okay? They're not able to slap the ball to an open part of the infield. It's almost like everyone's swinging for the fences. You've got a bullpen that has been awful. You've got a team that, again, overall is anemic at the plate. And even though it's not time to panic right now, with every loss, you know and I know exactly what's happening in the Giants fan base and in the Giants world of media. Tony V is going to get heat, and it's already started. And he may not make it. He may not make it to the end of April. I'm just telling you right now. If the Giants continue this slide, he will not make it past this month because the pressure to Buster will be too much. I know it will look bad for him, but you've got to, and I'm not saying it's all his fault, but when I'm listening to former Major League players talk about Tony Vitello, it concerns me. Eric Burns, who I know very well and is a friend of mine, just to be transparent, I was watching him on his No Filter network the other day, maybe yesterday, I think. And he was saying, Tony, stop talking about Tennessee. No one gives a damn, okay? Like, don't even talk about your stories anymore from back then. Don't even mention it. And he was talking about how being a manager in college and being a manager in the bigs is night and day. And he said, in the bigs, you got to unload the hammer on guys. And you have to be, you can't be everyone's friend. And you have to tell it the way it is. And he went into great detail of giving examples of that. And it makes sense to me. And again, I'm not blaming everything on him. After all, you know, he's not up there with the lumber. You know, he can't control his players getting hits or not. That's not his fault. All right, I mean, I'm sorry. You can't blame a slump or bad hitting on the manager. Now, if it's situational, yes. Okay? If you're trying to hit and run or you're doing this or you're doing that, that's called from the dugout, that's one thing. Right? You're not calling for a bunt. You are this, that. Okay, that's different. But as far as just hitting, getting on base, how do you blame that on the manager? Do they have to overlook their approach? Do they have to re-examine it? Here's from the 530. Grant, as a Giants fan, I see the same issues as last year. Too many strikeouts, not putting the ball in play. Defense is awful. I don't put that on Tony Vitello. That would be unfair. The fundamentals haven't been there for a few years. Fair enough. Fair enough. But you know and I know that with each mounting loss, he's the one that's going to get the heat. Not Buster. Not anyone else. It's going to be Tony. So if, and I'm not saying it will, but if this slide continues in this month, I would not be surprised at all if he does not make it to May. And I'm not kidding you. I'm already starting to hear a lot of noise coming out of San Francisco. And here's the other deal. After Philadelphia, okay, 2 games tonight, tomorrow night, you go to Baltimore for 3, then Cincinnati for 3, and Washington for 3, and then welcome home. You've got the Dodgers and the Miami Marlins, who are off to a great start for 6 home games. And then you go right back out on the road at Philadelphia and at Tampa. And yes, when you look at the standings, and again, maybe it's crazy to look at the standings this early, but with the Giants 6 games back in the loss column, Baltimore is a good team, although they're off to a slow start, but they're a good team at 5-6. I'm looking at the road trip. Washington is not, but they've got a better record than the Giants. And Cincinnati is a good team, and they're 7-3. So, if you do not figure out a way to win these 2 games against Philadelphia, that is a daunting road trip for the Giants. Now, they did play well in their only road games this year. They took 2 of 3 against San Diego, and it looked like this team had kind of gotten a bad taste of the Yankees out of their mouth, the 3-game sweep. But, whoa, Philadelphia 6-4, not playing they're not off to a blistering start. But what's the deal with the Giants at home, folks? 1-7 at home? Are you kidding me? 1-7 at home? That is brutal. Meanwhile, the A's start a series in New York. They're going to be in New York the whole week. Play the Yankees and then the Mets. And the extra inning game on Sunday to win that series against Houston. We'll see if that gives them any juice going into tonight's game against the Yankees. Yanks are coming off a loss on Sunday to the Marlins, where their bullpen could not hold the lead. The Yanks are off to a good start, though. They're 7-2. We know about their power, right? They have a superior lineup to the A's. They have superior pitching to the A's. We'll see what happens. We'll see, right? Yeah, I'm not expecting the A's to win the series. They got to figure out a way to win 1 game, though, against the Yankees before taking on a Mets team that doesn't have Juan Soto. But if I'm a Giants fan right now, I'm not hitting the panic button, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned. There's a difference between panic and concern. And as I spoke to a diehard Giants fan last night after the loss, and he is doom and gloom. And he watches every game. He's been a longtime fan. He is doom and gloom. I'm not there yet. First of all, I'm not a fan of the franchise. But if I were, it's too long of a season. Okay? We haven't even gotten to the Masters yet. And, a team can get hot, and a team normally will get hot. But collectively, this lineup is just terrible right now. Terrible.
Why do baseball managers dress out in uniform?
Say that again?
Why do baseball managers dress out in uniform with the players?
Yeah, what are they going to wear? If they're not uniform, what are they going to wear?
Stuff that other coaches wear? Uniform? You don't see
so
football
you think they
coaches
should be in a sweatsuit or what?
I mean, you don't see football coaches in full pads. I'm just saying. Hockey coaches, suits.
Could you imagine football coaches in full uniform and full pads?
I mean, are they the emergency catcher? If you lose all your catchers, I don't know, but that would be funny. Football players or coaches.
I've never really wondered why that's the case. Yeah, I've never really wondered that. They'd be a lot easier to distinguish in the dugout when you were watching a game.
Yeah, I mean, usually they have a sweatshirt or something over, but I've always found that to be weird. It's a baseball thing.
Well, they won't be having a sweatshirt in Sacramento this summer when it's 100 degrees at the games.
No, they will not.
Right?
No.
So what do you think would be an appropriate look for a MLB manager?
I mean, just some, you could even Harbaugh. You get some khakis, just a pullover.
That'd be way uncomfortable.
You could go sweatshirt. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you don't see other.
You can't go with sweatshirt. You're playing in the summertime where it's normally, blistering hot. You can't have a sweatshirt.
Okay, then wear a polo. Dress like the team trainer.
You want some of these managers in a polo?
I'd rather have the man. Do you think the managers want to be in uniform?
I think they do, yes.
Really?
Yep.
Huh.
Yep. I do.
All right. Why would a manager want to be in uniform?
Because it's the only thing they know. They've been in a uniform ever since they were a kid, and it's just like part of being a big leaguer. So, yes, I do think the managers like to be in a uniform.
Maybe it's because you have coaches on the field, like your first
Well,
base
yeah, you have a
coach,
first base coach and a third base coach. That I understand.
That makes sense.
I get that.
We got to ask Brian Knight that next time he comes on.
He probably won't know the answer to that.
He's probably got an idea.
As far as the coaches, why would the coaches have to be in uniform on first and third base? What difference would it make? I mean, if you're really talking about this.
I mean, aesthetically, well, I guess it doesn't because everybody else on the field is not your team unless you have guys on base.
Right.
Good question. I wonder why that started. If you know why that started, hit us up.
What do you mean why it started? It's been there from the existence of time.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what was the reason that the first baseball managers, maybe, you know what? I bet you, like, if I had to put a prize picks on this, I would say it's more likely that the original managers probably played or had the option to play.
Okay.
And now it's just stayed in existence.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we're speaking about coaches' apparel. Would you like to see NBA coaches go back to the way it used to be with jackets and ties?
I would. I'm just kind of a traditionalist like that.
Me too. I think the dress code in the NBA is an embarrassment all the way around across the board. I think it is such a bad look for the league, and I think David Stern's got to be rolling in his grave seeing how some of the guys look now on the bench that aren't playing. It's embarrassing.
Could you imagine Adam Silver coming full circle with the dress code rule and hitting the coaches with one? Like David Stern did with the players?
I can't see Adam Silver doing anything that polices his players or the league.
He's got a lot of loose ends right now to tie up, Grant.
Yeah, well, where do you start? Where do you start? You start with tanking. That he's made it very clear that is going to be the number one thing that he's going after right now. Correct?
Yes. But tanking,
and then there's expansion, number 2.
Yeah. I think the NBA is missing the boat, though, that tanking is hand in hand with how the lottery process works. They're not mutually exclusive. And I think you've got to look at that as well as how you keep guys on the floor. You know, like Giannis, there's an ESPN article today about how just toxic things are in Milwaukee. He had a thing in his contract where he missed out on a bunch of money on his Nike endorsement because he didn't play 41 games. So
everything comes back to the almighty dollar.
It comes back.
He's not upset about anything other than not getting the bonus, correct?
Well, he's wanted to play. That's why the Players Association went after the team and used it as an example, but it probably...
But why does he want to play? Does he want to... What's the reason for him wanting to play?
It stems, most likely, back to the dollar, according to ESPN.
Yeah. That did not paint a very good picture of what's going on in Milwaukee, that's for sure. Shams Charania, I believe, is the one that put that story out.
Doc Rivers, holy moly.
Doc's the most overrated coach in the history of the NBA. Seriously, he won a championship in Boston. But other than that, the guy has been a disappointment. He was a disappointment in L.A. with the Clippers. They never made it out of the second round with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan. Never made it out of the second round. All right, everywhere he's gone, with the exception of Boston, the guy has underachieved. He's an underachieving coach, period.
Yeah, and think about the terms that he came in to Milwaukee with. You know, your place is a coach that was just hired. He seems to not have, and he's one of those guys that has influence in the front office. I think he's like a co-GM, or he has one of those titles where he's involved in the basketball operations, but more or less he splintered this team in the locker room, the way he treated Kyle Kuzma, etc. So as one source put it in the article, their locker room is as toxic as any in the NBA.
There's going to be a lot of changes in Milwaukee next year. There were a lot of changes this year, but I'm talking about I was reading a story today, again, in the New York Post, as it relates to, or maybe it was yesterday, the Knicks, if they do not succeed in the playoffs this year, they'll do everything in their power to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Think about Giannis playing every night at Madison Square Garden.
It's huge.
Think about what that environment would be.
Yeah, it'd be massive.
Yeah. That would be incredible. And you're going to see, if that's the case, get ready to see the Knicks on national TV every night. And I'm exaggerating, but you get the point.
Okay, so what do you think the Knicks would realistically have to give up? Because
give up anything other than Jalen Brunson. You can't lose Brunson. You have to have Brunson.
You can't lose Hart. Where Mitchell
You can
Robinson.
lose Hart for Giannis. Yes, you sure can. Yeah, you can. If you get Giannis Antetokounmpo, you sure can lose Hart.
Well,
are you kidding me?
yeah.
You'd rather have Hart than Giannis Antetokounmpo?
No.
Come on.
Not player to player. I'm talking about how you build a team. Like, he is so important.
I understand, but
but
yes, you can lose Hart. Yes, you can.
Okay, what about Mitchell Robinson?
I mean, that's like saying, yes, absolutely. To get Giannis Antetokounmpo, yes, absolutely. If you have Brunson and you have Giannis, you build around that. You go from there.
Aren't you worried, though, if you're the Knicks with how much time Giannis has missed? He's had 5 injuries.
Yes, I am.
This season?
I am. Yes, I am. I mean, that has to be thoroughly looked at. Absolutely, I'm concerned about that.
Yeah. I mean,
that's like saying that. I mean, again, I know you're not saying that, but I'm not making a comparison to Sacramento, but that'd be like saying, well, you're not going to give up Max Reynaud to try to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. Sure as hell you would. Of course you would. What wins in the NBA? Stars win in the NBA. We talk about that all the time. If you don't have a star, you're not winning. What do the Kings not have? They don't have a star, right? What do you need? You need a special player. You need one of those guys. And Giannis is one of those guys, period. He is. Now, I agree with you. You got to look at his body and you got to be a little concerned. Why isn't he playing? But like Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of those guys. He's already done it. He's already won a championship in Milwaukee. A lot of people forget that. He's one of those special players in the league. Like, that's not debatable. You need a player like that. You do what you have to do to get a player like that. And if I'm the Knicks, I'm giving up anybody whose name's not Jalen Brunson. Hart, yes. I mean, Robinson, yes. Absolutely, I'm giving up those guys if I have to get Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay. Fair enough.
Here's the other deal. If you get Jalen Brunson and Giannis at the Garden, you're going to have other players that are going to want to go there as well. And you're going to be able to sign fringe players to fill out your roster that are going to be very good, that are going to sign 1-year deals or 2-year deals, and you're going to be able to build your team that way. Absolutely. Now, we could disagree, and that's fine. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you that's what I would do. When's the last time the Knicks won a championship? 1972. Okay? I don't know if you're aware of this. It's 2026. We're talking about the Knicks. We're talking about Madison Square Garden. We're talking about a team that last year made it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals and then fired their coach after the most successful season in 3 decades, 25 years. The Knicks will find a way to screw it up, Brian. Okay? But when's the last time the Knicks have had that guy, that marquee, Carmelo Anthony, and Anthony never made anyone better, and to me was a very overrated NBA player. I've always felt Carmelo Anthony was very overrated. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not overrated. I know he's not a real big fan of yours. I get that. I know you're not like super wrapped up in him. No, I get that.
Let's make this clear. I'm wrapped up in him as a player. What he brings to the hardwood, I just think he's got a bunch of flags on the back end. I don't think he's a great team guy. That's it.
Well, he was good enough team guy to win a championship in Milwaukee 3 years ago.
Yeah, things change with players, Grant.
Yeah, well, I understand. Maybe he needs a change of scenery. Maybe he needs a new environment. And yeah, maybe you're right. But if I'm the Knicks, Ryan, and let's say I don't make it out of the second round this year, just for sake of argument, after what you did last year, you don't think the Knicks are going to be willing to throw all the dice into the middle of the table?
No, I think you have to.
Right.
Do you think Dolan would go back as the Knicks sit today and take Thibodeau back over Mike Brown?
No, because of his ego. James Dolan has a huge ego, and I don't think he would allow himself to do that.
Okay, what do you think James Dolan is thinking privately then? Is he thinking like, man?
Privately, he's thinking that this team is good enough to win a championship, that they better win a championship, that the East is not the way it's been in the past, although with Tatum back with Boston, it changes everything. I still think that's the way Dolan thinks. Guy's got a big ego. He is a bottom line guy in terms of what he expects, especially when he comes out and says it on sports radio in the middle of winter. That's what he expects. He's put it out there.
Assuming injuries are equal to what we've had in the East right now, if Thibodeau was coaching that team, would they be number one in the East?
I think they'd be better than they are now. I don't know if they would be number one, but I think that they would be further along than they are. But I really think it's going to show up more in the postseason than the regular season.
I agree with you 100%.
And if the Knicks get an early bounce in the playoffs, oh my goodness, watch out. Okay? Heads will roll in New York.
Yeah, that whole collaborative thing that he talked about, James Dolan on the podcast, will be out the window.
And I'm telling you right now, they will go and they will drive the bank vault up to UConn. And they will go, Mr. Hurley, I know you turned down the Lakers, but that's L.A. You're an East Coast dude. This is New York. It's Madison Square Garden. Come coach my team.
Oh, you think
I'm just telling you, you watch.
That would be toxic. James Dolan would have to go on sabbatical if Dan Hurley was the coach of that team.
But you want to talk about moving the needle in New York?
Oh, it'd be huge. You get Dan
Right.
Hurley and Giannis.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Yes.
Sorry, I need to come up with my own catchphrase. I just say, oh, boy, because I'm around you so much. But
oh, boy's not my catchphrase. I didn't invent it.
yeah, but I never said it until we started hanging out together. So my bad.
All right. Well, we'll talk more about all of this. 916-779-0929. Grant's ran at 5. Sean Salisbury after that. Right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Get them at Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something doing good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
We will update you on some scores coming up in a little bit. By the way, my almost daily update. Keon Ellis, not good enough to play for the Sacramento Kings. Once again started for the 50-win Cleveland Cavaliers last night. And he started and scored in 27 minutes of action, 19 points, 7-11 floor, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc, 2 of 3 from the line. He had 8 assists and 3 rebounds. That's the same Keon Ellis who was on the Sacramento Kings roster, who was not good enough to play for Doug Christie's Kings. So the update on Keon Ellis, now a starter on a 50-win team in the NBA. Yeah. Shocking. Who would have ever predicted that, Ryan? Who would have ever predicted that? I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. We talked about it with the fans of this city every night on our postgame show. We told you exactly what was going to happen.
For how many seasons?
The fans told us.
Huh? How many seasons, too? Not just this season?
Yeah. Unbelievable. By the way, the Pacers are already down in the first quarter, 27-14 at home to Minnesota, and Washington's already down 11 with 5 minutes left in the first against a bad Bulls team. It's 22-11. Utah plays in New Orleans a little bit later. The Kings are in Golden State. I don't think there's any chance, barring, well, I don't even want to say that. There's no chance, in my opinion, can win this game tonight. So they'll fall to 21-59. I don't think so. I'm sorry. How are they going to win? How would they possibly win?
Well, first off, I've heard Steph's probably not starting again tonight. He's going to be on another minute restriction. I know he had 29 in his return back.
Okay.
But I think the Kings will actually be competitive. Sometimes these games get really weird.
Now, wait a minute.
Really close.
Wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute. Last hour, you said they wouldn't stay within 20.
Yeah, I said the game could be competitive. I also said that it'll be close up until halftime, but when the 8-9 minute mark rolls around in the fourth quarter, the Kings will be down 16-20.
I think the game will be over at halftime. I hope I'm wrong, because I would like to see a competitive game.
The Warriors right now are just as scattered. There's not a far leap between the Warriors and the teams that are out of the playoffs right now. I mean, they're a lock for that last slot. You've got Steph just coming back. You're leaning on Guy Santos, who shoots the ball pretty well from beyond the arc. Draymond Green is not who he's supposed to be. Seth Curry, I don't think he's going to break you up, even though he's had a game or two with Steph out. And then Brandon Pajemski. What am I missing? It's not like an all-star cast.
Well, did you see Draymond Green go at him after he failed to come over and set a screen with Draymond to allow Steph a better look at the end of 3 for the last game that they played? It was very interesting.
No, I did not. Interesting, because Steph and Pajemski are pretty close. So, weird. I mean, are we going to say the wild card's Pat Spencer, who's been a two-way guy that I believe now is a full-time roster spot for the Warriors? It's just, they're a night-to-night team too, Grant. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, I would agree with that. I'm just making a prediction. I've been wrong many times, and I can be wrong again. So we'll update you on those scores going on in the NBA, but I always like to talk about the outstanding year that Keon Ellis is now having, that he's no longer a part of the Sacramento Kings and not a part of their plans, which to me, I'm sorry, you can talk all you want about the good moves that Scott Perry has made with Max Reynaud, with Dylan Cardwell, with Precious, but I'm sorry, you cannot forget about giving away Jonas Valanciunas for nothing and forget about giving away, not seeing the value of Keon Ellis to a team that is as bad as the Sacramento Kings are. And listen, I'm not making Ellis out to be an all-star. Okay, I'm not making him out to be the savior of the franchise. But here's what I am doing. It is alarming to me that your head coach of your Sacramento Kings, who came out in training camp, day one, and said, we need to make them feel us. Okay? And he talked about 94 feet. 94 feet. And then he came back and kind of backtracked a little bit, and everything was backtracked. And it was like, but he kept on talking about, we're gonna play a certain way. We're gonna play to a certain standard. We're gonna play this. We're gonna play that. And the one guy that did all of the things that Doug was preaching is the guy that couldn't get into the game. That was completely messed with. So screwed up that he didn't know what was going on. And I'm talking about Ellis. And now you go to a good team, not a great team, a good team, and a coach like Kenny Atkinson sees the value in Ellis, sees the attributes that he brings to a team. Whether he starts on some nights or comes off the bench, he normally leads the bench in terms of minutes played.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you just can't ignore that. That is the ineptitude of the Sacramento Kings organization. And as all of the good things that Scott Perry has done, which I've noted, he's also made some bonehead decisions, in my opinion. The Russell Westbrook is at the very top of the list. 0 cents. Dennis Schroeder doesn't look very good right now.
But
now you can put Keon Ellis on that list.
I can't really argue with any of that. Look, there was one point in the season where the Kings were really falling apart for that first time, and Keon made a couple of mistakes, and then Doug did not play him for like 2 or 3 games in a row. And it was almost like Keon's mistakes were, they were the scapegoat. They were the example of, if you're not going to do this, you're not going to play. And I don't know. We can pin Valanciunas 100% on Scott Perry, but I can't pin Keon Ellis 100% on Scott Perry, the mishandling of him, because we don't know what Keon's camp was saying behind the scenes before this season started.
I don't give a damn what Keon's camp was saying behind the scenes. They mismanaged him, and they made a mistake in sending him away.
But if Keon's camp had made it clear he's not signing another contract with the Kings, because something that, and hopefully we can get some clarity to this at the end of the season. I know it's been asked. Scott's not wanting to go there, but Keon was eligible for an extension this last summer with the Kings, and the Kings ended up just picking up the option on him. And I wonder what the story is there, because Keon was mismanaged under Mike Brown and Monty McNair. That national media says that's why he got fired. So, maybe there's something there, but outside of that, there's no excuse. And if Scott Perry, in my opinion, did not see Keon Ellis as the type of player that you want in a Scott Perry vision Kings, then that goes back to your concern about player evaluation.
Okay. Let's back up to training camp. Most people projected the Kings to be fighting for a play-in spot. Okay? Let's just put it right out there. There were some that thought if everything went well, they might be around 7 or 8, and if everything really went well, an outside chance at 6. I wasn't one of those. You weren't one of those. But we thought that they had a realistic chance of being a play-in team, one of the top 10 teams in the West coming out of camp. All right, we looked at the roster. We're like, okay, you saw what happened in Summer League with Neek, and a lot of people were excited back in October when the season began based on how Neek played in Summer League. You had Dennis Schroeder. We were clamoring for a point guard. Well, all of a sudden you have a point guard. That was the talk in October, Ryan. This team should be a top 10 team. Okay? Well, that changed in a hurry based on coaches' rotations, decisions to bench Keon Ellis, decisions early in the season to bench Malik Monk, and the rotations that we used to talk about on the postgame show every night that left us scratching our head. Now, some were due to injury, and you got to be fair and acknowledge the injuries. But this thing was out of whack early, and I don't think that I think we need to go back and revisit what the expectations were from a team that won 40 games last year, that added what we were all talking about, a point guard who had a first-round pick that everybody was saying was one of the steals of the draft, and Nick Clifford, which has since changed. The real steal of the draft is Max Reynaud, but that's what we were talking about in October, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, no, it's a great point. It's a very good point. That we thought, and I don't think anybody envisioned, as you pointed out, the injuries to that magnitude, although ever since that really healthy 22-23 season, the Kings' injuries have just trended up and up.
Yeah.
But the biggest mistake, and I've talked about why I think, or what Doug Christie's biggest mistake was, but I think the biggest mistakes weren't actually mistakes because they were inaction. Doug didn't do the things that probably most other coaches would have done when it comes to shifting places with the rotation, bringing a Levine off the bench, bringing a DeRozan off the bench, putting a restrictor plate on Russell Westbrook's minutes. None of that happened.
Yeah.
So it's the inaction that actually really hurt this team.
We'll take the time out. We've got a lot to come. Grant's Rant coming your way at 5 o'clock. Then Sean Salisbury right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabroods. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabroods or visit Gabroods.com. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back just like this to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Available at Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Let's face it, happens every day.
And when it does, the Accident Guys are here to help. Call us, the Accident Guys, 877-888-GUYS.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do is call the Accident Guys. Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
Jackson. We're giving away life-changing cash at Jackson. Spin the super prize wheel, and you can win up to $1 million. Fridays and Saturdays, 5 to 10 p.m. Sundays, 2 to 7 p.m.
Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
Buckle up, because we're also giving away an RV this Memorial Day. Earn entries now playing your favorite games, and be here 8 p.m. for your chance to win. Let's go.
Let's go.
You know the songs, you know the sound. Now you can hear them live at Jackson. Eagles tribute band One of These Nights is live June 13th, and our tribute series is packed with iconic rock. Journey Revisited, Skinnerd and Friends, CCR, and more.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's rock. The music and the wins are waiting at Jackson.
Jackson, 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 Jackson Rancheria.
Let's go.
A's trailing in the second in the Bronx. Rosario of the Yankees with a solo shot. Game bottoms 2, 1-0 Yankees. So here's the football question of the day. There's been a lot of talk today because Fernando Mendoza, who is expected to be the top overall pick in this year's NFL draft, which is coming up in just a couple of weeks, he announced that he's not going to the draft, that he's going to stay at home and be there with friends and family. And there are a lot of people that are thinking that's a bad move on his part, that he should be there as somebody that's going to be number one. So, Ryan, my question, does that take the luster at all off this draft? I mean, I don't really care whether – I used to love the players to be at the draft. I thought it was something that was made it special. But the trend lately has been so many players don't go, and they're at home with their friends and family celebrating. And there's video everywhere. Like, they're going to have cameras in his house. What difference does it make anymore?
Here's why I have no problem with it. You just laid out a great reason why it's okay. There's going to be coverage of him, but it's perfectly in line with his personality and who he is.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to be with his friends. He wants to be with his family. And quite frankly, he probably wants to get to work. If you look at what he's done before he joined other college programs, he's already working and learning things about the team. So this fits the young man's build, and it's his decision. It's not anybody else's.
Yeah, where's the draft this year? Pittsburgh, right? So, like, I'm with you on that. It's like, stay at home, whatever. You want to be with your friends and family. He's taking some flack for it. I think, again, we live in an era where criticism is part of the deal, and who cares what people think? If you don't want to go, they're going to have a reporter there, right? They're going to, when I say they, the networks that are covering the draft are going to have a reporter at his house with live cameras and the reaction and everything else. So he's not going to walk across the stage and shake the hands of Roger Goodell and put the Raiders hat on. Big deal.
Look, there's so many players that want that moment, that I just was drafted to the NFL. I'm shaking the commissioner's hand. Like,
sure, it's the completion of a dream.
Right. This is just another step for Francisco or Francisco Mendoza. And
Fernando Mendoza.
Or Fernando, excuse me. Just another step for him. And I like the way that he's looking at it. That's just not his thing. He doesn't want the flash. He doesn't want the glory.
It's very interesting. We always talk about how when you have access to a team, very often you might have a different opinion than the mainstream media and fans. So I was watching a podcast out of New York yesterday with Bob Papa, is the voice of the Giants, who's been on this show, and former linebacker of the Super Bowl champion Giants, Carl Banks, who I think should be in the Hall of Fame, but he's a longtime radio analyst for the Giants. He's a very prominent member in New York as it relates to the Giants. He was extremely critical of Dexter Lawrence, who is the Giants' star defensive tackle, who basically now is not going to be at the camps, and he's going to be saying, I'm not playing until I get a new deal, and requested a trade. And he went on the podcast with Bob Papa and said, you're not the guy anymore, and you haven't been the guy since your last injury, and that you are getting blocked by the 9th best center in the NFL one-on-one, and you're not the same player that you were. And I was just like, whoa. And he went and said that when you're not in the game and the other players are in it, he mentioned 3 by name, they're playing just as well, if not better than you, against the same guy that's trying to block you.
Interesting.
Yeah, I was very interesting. And I was like, he knows. He's at practice. He's got the ear of all the coaches. He's watched Dexter Lawrence become as good as any defensive tackle in football, but his production fell off last year.
Really quick, I just want to make sure Dexter Lawrence is also the sexy Dexy that you were talking about yesterday.
Yes, sexy
same person.
Dexy.
Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at Dexter Lawrence, when I look at Dexter Lawrence, that word doesn't come to my mind, but that's just me. I don't want to speak for everyone else. So I thought it was very interesting to hear the comments of somebody that's tied with the team on the games as a broadcaster and come right out and say, hey, man, you're not the same player. And he said, now, could it be because you weren't back to 100%? Maybe you're the only one that knows that. Could it be this? Maybe. Like, he went down the whole list, but he said, all I know is when I watch you, you're not the same player, and you're being blocked by, this guy on this team, and he's taking care of you one-on-one. And when you're not in the game, your reserves are doing the same thing that you're doing. And he was talking about that, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time.
The New York media.
I don't know.
The New York media.
But here's the difference. This is New York media, but this is somebody that works for the team.
Right. Hunter, I get that. It's just...
And I love it because, listen, the one thing about a big market like New York or Philadelphia or Boston is it doesn't matter whether you work for the team or not. If you have a different platform like Michael Kay has, the TV voice of the Yankees, on local radio in New York doing an afternoon show, or a podcast like Bob Papa does with Carl Banks, I think every week. I've listened to the Giants broadcast with Bob and Carl, and the Giants have been horrible the last couple of years. They rip the team on the broadcast. They don't sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
It's not like, no, they come right at you.
Yeah.
And then if you listen to the Giants postgame show, it is like venomous. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire. It's not like sugarcoating nonsense that you hear in this market.
Yeah.
It's not like that at all. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. We see it as much as you, the fans, see it, and we acknowledge that it needs to change and that it's unacceptable and blah, blah, blah. You don't hear that here. Here you're like, oh, well, it's a joke. I mean, it's night and day difference.
This is a very good point from the 209. They think Mendoza is also taking into account his mom and her medical battle.
Maybe.
So, fair enough.
Could very well be.
Sure.
So somebody said, Do I think it's disrespectful to the rest of the colleagues that Mendoza will not be in person at the draft? Disrespectful? No. I don't think it's disrespectful to you.
No, not at all.
I mean, I don't think it's disrespectful at all.
It gives them
279. Jenny Kavnar is terrible, Grant. I agree with you. I think she is terrible. I don't understand how she is in a big league booth. I don't understand that. I would agree with you on that. What's that?
I was going to say it gives more spotlight to other players, more
Well,
media
listen,
time
he's
for
going to be
this.
the first player taken in the draft, Ryan. Okay? So here's the deal. After the first 10 minutes of the draft, he's not the story anymore. So he's going to be the story for 10 minutes.
Right.
And then he's not the story anymore. Who cares?
Right. And think about the media for the players headed into the draft. That week when they're in town,
Yes.
it is constant. And he's going to be boarding a plane either way to Vegas that night as soon as the process plays out. So it's not a huge deal.
Again, I think the draft now, here's the deal. Technology has changed everything, Ryan. Right? Because now you can stay at home and there can be cameras there to have all of the emotion, all the interviews, everything else. Other than the fact that you're not on site, what's different about it? With the one exception, you're not going up, shaking the hand of the commissioner and putting the hat on. And other than the photo opportunity, which that provides, and for some, the thrill of a lifetime, what are you getting at the draft that you're not getting now with technology being able to do everything from on site?
700,000 fans cheering for you and shaking the hand of the commissioner, which you will eventually shake very shortly if you're the number one pick. I mean, here's the other thing too. There's a lot of venom for these players that stay home that is not directed at them. It's directed at their family members. Maybe somebody doesn't know the camera is on, right? And they might be looking a certain way and it turns into a meme. It happened to, I believe, Joe Alt's, I want to say his sister, when he stayed home for the draft. So there's ugliness to both sides of it.
All right. 916-779-0929. I hate the way the draft is done now. And I just, the fact that it's spread out for, 3 days, and even the NBA spreading their draft out, it's just, come on. So I've always felt, I don't know how you feel, after the first round, I've always felt the draft's very boring. And because unless you are a big-time follower of college football and get ready to study the draft and everything that comes with it, do you really know who's going in the third round? Like when your team selects, the starting left guard out of Pittsburgh, right? I mean, give me a break, right? I mean, come on.
I don't. I mean, I can usually recognize the first two rounds, but there's a lot more fans that are in tune with that. Think about what Larry and Damon are doing with their podcast. They're breaking down 7th, 8th picks, or 7th round picks, 8th round picks, and
they're doing that to fill their content, and I love those guys, and you know that. But the majority of fans don't. It's like what are you really doing? What are you doing?
What I'm saying is a lot of the fans are bringing up those questions about those rounds with names. So there is a legitimate fan base.
Listen, those fans that have questions about those rounds, if they really had questions, they've got all of the draft experts and the people that cover college football for a living on the set talking about every player that's drafted, whether it's the first round or the 5th round.
Yeah.
So like if you really want information on a player that your team just drafted, aren't you going to watch the coverage from the draft? Don't they have it the best?
Not always, depending on where you're watching the draft from.
I don't care if you're watching the draft from the North Pole. If you're watching the draft,
or I should say
and
what
a
you're
player's
watching
taken
the
on the
draft
New York
on.
Giants in the 6th round, all right, where am I going to get the most information on them or very good information? They're going to talk about the player right there with the people that know about him, that are prepared for the draft, and probably have watched them play. Are they not? Are you not?
No. Once you get to the 6th, 7th round, they talk about maybe one in every 6th player drafted.
Oh, come on.
I'm being serious. Dead serious. They're talking about other things. They're talking about who's had the best draft up until this point, that little ding is going off all the time without them running down the player. I'm serious.
Okay. Fair enough. I guess it depends on, in the past, I've always watched the NFL Network. It's also on ESPN. I guess maybe it depends on what network you're watching.
That's what I meant to say, not where you're watching from, what you're watching on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. I understand. Okay. Well, here's what I do now. All right. Mendoza, barring a collapse in the way they are doing things in the NFL with the Raiders, will be the number 1 pick. And he is apparently going to be watching the proceedings from home with friends and family. For what it's worth. Also, for what it's worth. And this is something you never want to miss. That's the great Sean Salisbury. He's going to be coming on right after Grant's rant in a couple of moments. The 3rd hour of the show, straight ahead on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
If you've been shocked by your increasing utility bills, we get it. Energy rates in California are crazy. So at Sierra Pacific, we're introducing our 10-10-20 Home Energy and Comfort Program. It's called 10-10-20, and it works like this. Our HVAC techs will come out and install a new home comfort system in your home now. You'll get 10 years to pay for the system, a 10-year warranty on that system, and 20% off the cost. That's 10-10-20. And SMUD customers can get rebates up to $3,000. With summer almost here, now's the time to call or visit SierraPacificHome.com and ask about our 10-10-20 promotion. With over 1,700 five-star reviews, we've proudly installed over 20,000 home comfort systems. If it's time for an HVAC system replacement, call or visit us at SierraPacificHome.com.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air. The guys in the big red trucks.
Above the noise, every time a power job opens, the conversation normally sounds the same. Big names from smaller programs take center stage. It's the safest play on paper and the easiest way at the podium to win. Look at the recent carousel. Tommy Lloyd immediately connected to North Carolina. LSU football scanned the usual heavyweights before landing on Lane Kiffin. The instinct is always the same. Find the biggest name, trust the track record, and throw money at them. The problem is that approach doesn't guarantee the right fit because the best coaches don't always arrive with the loudest introduction. Dan Hurley wasn't a headline when he left Rhode Island. Now he's built a powerhouse. Dusty May went from Florida Atlantic to Michigan and delivered a national title. Kurt Signetti from James Madison to Indiana to a national championship. Resumes open doors. Fit determines what happens next. And when programs chase headlines instead of alignment, they risk winning the press conference and losing everything that follows. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
I am dedicated. I am TNT.
With Team in Training, you will reach your best physical self so blood cancer patients can reach theirs. Change your life by joining a marathon, half marathon, triathlon, or a cycle event, and you'll change the lives of blood cancer patients.
I am committed. I am TNT.
After 600,000 participants and almost $1 billion raised for treatments, TNT has helped the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society make a significant impact in the advancement of blood cancer therapies that save lives every day.
I am making a difference. I am TNT.
Join TNT. Expand your circle of friends to be part of a very special community. Train with world-class trainers and have the chance to be part of the most exciting endurance sports events in the country. Or train on your own schedule with TNT Flex. Join TNT and fundraise while you train and take part in getting us all closer to a world without blood cancers.
Join TNT now. Go to teamintraining.org.
Grant Napear is back every weekday afternoon, 3 to 6. This is Fox Sports, KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
So, as I said at the beginning of the show, what is going on with basketball in this country? Like, people don't know how to shoot the basketball anymore. Like, what is going on? The University of Connecticut takes 33 three-pointers in the national championship game when they couldn't hit the side of a barn. They shoot 27%, three after three after three after three after three. You know, maybe get to the free throw line. 9 of 33 after shooting only 31% from the floor. And then you take a look at the team that won the national championship, Michigan. Think about this. The team that won the national championship in college basketball shot 2 of 15 from three. 2 of 15 from three. And only 38% from the floor. And how often do we talk about bad shooting in the sport of basketball now? It's incredible to me, both in college and in the NBA. What do they say? It's a make or miss league in the NBA, the greatest league in the world. And we talk about bad shooting on so many nights. We talk about fundamentals, even in our professional league of the NBA. And we talk about the players that are foreign-born having better fundamental skills, that they're more fundamentally sound. Look at the best players in the NBA right now. Nikola Jokic, Victor Wembanyama, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I can run down many more. What do we talk about? How fundamentally sound they are. They do this well. They're really good passers. They shoot the ball well, right? They're skilled. What's going on with basketball in this country? 69-63. Congratulations to Michigan. And yeah, there was some good defense played last night. I'm acknowledging that. But the team that won the Natty, the Michigan Wolverines, that's right, the team that won the national championship in college basketball, shoots 38% from the floor and 13% from beyond the arc. Now, in their credit, they did get to the line 28 times, and they made 25. What is going on with basketball and the way it is played, and why is it that on so many nights, both in college basketball and the NBA, we're talking about the awful shooting and the volume of the three-point shot? Connecticut really took 33 three-pointers in 40 minutes of basketball and only made 9. Do you think that after you've missed 12 or 13 in a row that maybe you would try to score some other fashion? Like, would that not be the way to approach the game? Michigan did. They got to the line. They were drawing fouls. They got UConn in foul trouble. Again, they made 25 of 28. They got to the line. They made attempts, but 2 of 15. I mean, the combined three-point shooting, pathetic, on display in the largest audience of the year in college basketball. That's the shooting that I want to watch in college basketball. I want to watch the team that wins the Natty shoot 38% from the floor and 13% from three, and the losing team at 31% and 9 of 33 from beyond the arc. What is going on with basketball in this country, both college and the NBA? How many times do we talk about bad shooting? Come on. Fix the damn game, would you please? The game needs to be reviewed and changed, and the game needs to be fixed. It's awful. And that's my rant for today. All right, each and every Tuesday, we love talking with Sean Salisbury at this time. Sean, good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, brother. Can I make 30-second comment on your rant, which I always
You can make
love.
a
I love
90-second
being on
or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. The floor is yours, my man.
No, I love it. Your rants are friggin' awesome. And Rhino, who, when we're conversing, he allows me to sit in and listen to this stuff when you're going through it, and I love it while I'm on hold. Grant, we've talked about this. We talked about how I grew up. I wouldn't miss a basketball game. Didn't matter what it was, what day of the week, and haven't watched this year, and it does pain me. I know people say the hyperbolic. I hate the fact that it can be. Now, I watch a lot of college hoops, and I know what you're saying about last night. The NBA, I haven't watched a full game yet this year, and I've never in my life been able to say that. Well, and I don't wear it as a badge of honor, but going in, the one thing, and I agree with your rant about shooting, 13% from beyond the arc for Michigan, and they got out rebounded. But you know what was great about last night, Grant? And there's no way, I know you won't argue this, is that both coaches, Coach May and Coach Hurley, I got to believe, and I haven't heard what you said, I got to believe you love them both because they both come from old school basketball principles. They do. And that's the thing I do like about, the game last night didn't have anybody in double-digit assists. It was 9 for UConn and 7 for Michigan. So it was a struggle all the way around. But you know what I loved about the game that made it a little more pure for me other than just knockdown threes, Grant? Michigan was not shooting well, so what'd they do? They had the amount of 85 or 9%, their points came inside the paint last night, which they realized they weren't shooting. So what did Coach May do? Pound the ball inside, and they shot 25 for 28 from the free throw line.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
It had a little bit of, okay, guys, we can't skin the cat that way. We got to go beat them some other way. And that showed me why Michigan was the best team all year. They can beat you in a 98-point game, and they can beat you in a 60-point mutter, which is exactly what Dan Hurley wanted to do last night. He knew talent-wise they were outmanned. And so he brought them to a point where he made them play different. And you know what? But they still got beat because on the other end, they didn't do the things that they normally do, UConn, to do it. But Dan wanted to get him in one of those kind of slugfest, can you win one of these games? And Coach May's team did. So the pure part of it was it looked a little old school. 20 offensive rebounds for UConn. They got to the offensive glass, just couldn't finish. And a handful of plays, a hustle block shot on the defensive end, and then a great job by the big fella on Michigan to use that left hand around the bucket on a catch and finish. I mean, there was some, and Cadeau to make a couple really clutch shots when it mattered. So for me, Grant, while it was frustrating watching the shooting, I did love how, some things change and a lot of things don't. The principles of, hey, we're not winning a pretty game. This isn't an NBA All-Star game where nobody's playing defense. We're going to have to grind this one out. And both Danny Hurley and Coach May, both of them, I guarantee you, they may not say it to recruits, but you and I both know Coach Hurley grew up with his dad, who was a basketball grinder, right? It just, to me, it had a feeling of, I felt like I was watching a 1985 Patrick Ewing championship game. I did whenever they played in. I'm just using Georgetown as an example. So it reminded me of that, although we need changes, Grant, because we're going to lose some interest from people. And I know it took longer than 90 seconds, but I did love okay, you can't win knocking down threes and you're not shooting. Well, how else are you going to do it? And both of these teams grinded out. And then the sportsmanship afterwards, last night was how it's supposed to be done.
Amen.
I'll watch a game like that more than I will you not playing any defense at all during a game. A little bit old school hoops last night, and I kind of liked it, man. It was
Speaking
nice.
of college hoops, and after the game, Gino Auriemma's behavior after the loss to South Carolina is one of the worst things I've seen. It's embarrassing, Sean.
Yeah, it was. And Gino, now listen, anybody that I've met Gino a half a dozen times. He'd come to the building at ESPN because Stores isn't far from Bristol when I was there. And engaging, as we know, the things that are obvious. Gino,
sure.
Gino's got some cold-blooded, the cold-blooded stuff in him. He's not really worried about your opinion. And we know Dawn Staley are willing to battle your ass too. You want two coaches that also, in truth, love you're gonna do it this way, or your ass is gonna be running blood and guts up and down, running lines like we called it blood and guts in high school. This is how you're going to do it here at South Carolina and UConn. But Gino knows better. And I guarantee, I know that, and he didn't, there's gamesmanship by both. Dawn knew before the game what she was doing, and Gino knew after, at the end of the game what he was doing. And it was Bush League. Gino's better than that. And I was Team Staley on this one because regardless of gamesmanship and all that, I don't care if you can't stand them, or I know they have mutual respect. You have got to understand that the optics, and which then you got to go tell your team the next time. And Gino's got enough skin in the game to do it his way. I consider him one of the great basketball coaches in any level, or great coaches, period, in any sport. But I think about guys, wouldn't have done that. Krzyzewski wouldn't have done that. And Gino and Pat Summitt wouldn't have done that. And Gino is as good as we have. Don deserved the handshake, the gamesmanship. They'll work out that little, the little catty stuff would be gamesmanship before game. But it was Bush League by Gino. And I don't say much about him. He's opinionated and gets after it and got a great program, as does Don Staley. But the handshake after, whether you like it or not, is a must, and there's a respect there. And it was disrespectful, and Gino deserved most of the wrath on that, regardless of who you like or how your politics are, any of that. Dawn deserved the Gino handshake because she kicked his ass up and down the court that day.
Let's talk some football. I guess Fernando Mendoza has announced that he's going to stay at home and watch the draft and not be there. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But there are a lot of people that are coming down on him, which I think is unjust. How do you see this?
I was mulling it over today. I know we brought it up, and it's going to be a topic of conversation on my show tomorrow, Grant. I'm not sure how I feel. One tells me he's a family guy. His mom's not overly the mobility for his mother. That's hard for them.
Yep.
It is. Listen, New York's not exactly they've got some trouble, some issues that have nothing to do with sports in that city, as we well know. There's just a lot. I mean, even though it's where is the draft this year?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Yeah, the reason why I was saying New York is when you go there, it's tough. And going from where they are and where the parents are to have to get all the way to Pittsburgh's tough. But in the old school days, it would have even been more difficult with New York. And there's not a lot. There's a lot going on in New York that has nothing to do with sports. But with the mobility of mom, and I'm just speaking, I haven't heard him say anything about it yet.
Sure.
But I will. I don't, as a family guy, I get why you'd want to be around a family. That's kind of the way he's done all his business. His parents are important to him. His brother, the whole family, he's done everything family. And I know the argument of, well, go share it with them in New York. Maybe it's just more personal to him, because he's been an underdog along the way and just wants to be with his family and friends and have that party. We're seeing more of that. As far as the NFL goes, when you're going to be the first pick of the draft, I know that they don't want that egg on their face saying the first pick's not here.
Yeah.
That's got to be bothersome for the optics of it. And Pittsburgh's a good, hardcore, blue-collar town that I'm sure would like to see him, even though he's going to end up in Raiderville, more than likely, unless there's some trade that blows us away. So, I'm not real sure, Grant. I get both
You're
sides
on the fence.
of it.
You're on the fence.
I don't know why. I am, and I'm not. I lean more towards him doing what it's his life. He's not there to appease. Now, I know when you agree to do it, you'd like you're the first pick. Just come here, put that on, hug Roger Goodell, and move on. And Pittsburgh, since we rotate the draft now, they'd like to see it. But in truth, Grant, I do admire a guy that stands firm that this is for me and my family. The NFL, while it is a business, my family's first, and I'm going to take that over getting on a plane and going there. I know the optics look bad, but it's hard for me to dog anybody that wants to be around family and friends. Although, as the first pick of the draft, I get the business aspect and the optics for the NFL.
Speaking of the Raiders, the team that you follow and you're a fan of, when you look at Mendoza being a Raiders fan, are you happy that this is the year that he's available? I mean, people always compare drafts, which I get. That's what we do on talk radio and on podcast and your show that you do. But in terms of the future, what do you think he's going to be? What type of NFL quarterback do you project him to be?
It's a weak quarterback class this year, Grant. That's I do know. There's two guys, and then from 3 down, it's a crapshoot from the Klubniks to, the first 2, I believe, are Mendoza and Ty Simpson in what I've watched. And then I think there's a fall off. And I think you'd be reaching to try and get a first-round pick. With Mendoza, as a Raider guy and a guy who admires what he did last year, I take, I don't know why I take offense to it, but it bothers me when people say, well, you know what, he didn't make many good throws. He made a lot of good throws. You can't win a national championship without making a bunch of good throws. And if anybody questions if he can play, just go watch the last drive against Penn State. Go watch in Happy Valley the 5 or 6 throws that he made after taking a sack on the first one, and tell me he doesn't make clutch monster throws under pressure. That being said, I think he's a guy that's going to he's going to go through struggles because, as they all do as rookies, but he feels to me, at least early, this can change with development. We know that and how well coached you are. But he's going to go through. I don't think he's a guy like an Aaron Rodgers was in his career, or like Elway was at times, or Marino, where, and that's high praise, but where they could carry a team for a month when everybody else was bothered or hurt or struggling. I think he needs to be with a group like in Indiana. They were loaded on offense, defense. He had a lot of really good players, maybe not household names, but when you watch them, far better than the pub they received going in. They could play. So I don't know if he's a guy that can carry you and throw 40 times a game. I don't believe that. I think there's a risk with a one-year starter at Indiana. I know he played at Cal, but a one-year starter at Indiana, there's a risk of the development because you're going to pigeonhole him in. I wouldn't be so bummed if they played Kirk Cousins and Mendoza had to just wait until it's time, or let them compete in training camp and see who the best player is. I'm not worried about his personality or his feelings because I'm not in the feel-good business. I'm in the who gives us the best chance to win. And if they're worried about him being fragile if he gets knocked around, if anybody is, then you should have done your due diligence and not drafted him. You can't draft a guy with a bunch of ifs around his name as the first pick of the draft. And I don't think there's a lot of ifs. I think he's a good guy. Yeah. He's got good arm. He can make all the throws. He's more athletic than we give him credit for. But he'll go through the struggles, and I think through faith and the way he does it, he'll handle it. But, Grant, I also, on the side, think if somebody offered me 2 first-rounders and a player, I would listen. Next year's class is better. It's not going to happen, but I would listen and take every call because the truth is, who do you think gives them a better chance to win right now, Cousins or Mendoza? Of course, Cousins does.
Yeah,
now,
of course, no doubt.
We saw Penix take over. Right. So, but if you're the Raiders and you're thinking 3-year time clock and you're giving Kubiak some space and some room, then you think, okay, let's let him play. I don't have to play through the struggles. You're going to get kicked in the teeth. Let's test him and see what and Cousins is there if we need a security blanket like Dalton was for Bryce Young, and let him go. I don't have a problem. He's the best player. Play him. I've never had a problem playing a rookie. Cousins is a great security blanket and a good option, but I do like the pick. But Grant, I'm not as comfortable as I would have been when you said, Andrew Luck or Manning or Elway, one of those guys. But I think that he's a kid that will not allow failure early on to be a life sentence. I feel like he's got that mentality. But he hadn't known anything but success in Indiana. Yeah. I mean, he went in there and but a lot of that's created by him, and he was well coached. So he's going to go through some struggles. We're going to see what it's like for him to get kicked in the teeth a few times because it'll happen. I would entertain every call, but I'm okay with them drafting him. 10 years from now, do I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer? I wouldn't be able to answer that right now. I would say that he's going to be a solid starter. And if he plays like he did in Indiana, then God bless him, and he'll be a really good one.
All right, so you've been there. So talk to me about how a high-profile quarterback comes into an organization as a rookie and wins over the locker room. What does he need to do? What advice would you give him?
Stand firm on everything you believe, but be flexible. Make sure that in your situation as the first pick of the draft, that you act around the fellas like you're just one of the guys. I know that sounds kind of elementary. I've never been on a team with a great leader who won. They had boundaries. You knew when he walked in, there was just a different presence about him, the way he handled it. But be one of the guys where the rookie gets treated just like the veteran. You take the guy, he should start right off the bat. First week of this, get them out to dinner. You make sure those offensive linemen are well fed, and it's important. I watch Dan Fouts do it every week, his entire career. Every week, steak, beer, burgers, whatever it is. And you build that camaraderie, but also you build it with your defensive guys. You build it with the staff. That doesn't mean to brown nose. It means to make sure that they know you're one of us, that you're not the first pick of the draft and you got a suit on and you're upstairs talking to the GM. They want to know that. I'm just telling you, they want to know that you're one of us, but you're not one of us, meaning when it's nut cutting time, that you're going to rise and take us to places that the previous guys just couldn't do it. You're going to maximize the building with the assistant, the secretary, I don't like the executive assistant, the equipment guy, that all those people get treated right. And I know it's a high task as a rookie, but you're the first pick of the draft. You don't have a choice. And then the one thing, you can talk all you want, but you got to play and you got to perform. And you got to be able to take a shot to the mouth and get back up without blaming somebody and let them know you're going to get back up and deliver. And it's the thing. It's not going to be the 400-yard passing game or the 3 touchdowns against the team you're supposed to be. It's going to be, what were you like when it was crappy? What were you like on a Wednesday after a bad game? What were you like in the film room after you're the reason you threw 3 picks because you're bad reads? Did you go back to work and stay with your routine? And on your faith and all that, you can't waver. If you're not a drinker, don't be a drinker. They'll have respect for you. You don't have to, when I say be one of the guys, doesn't mean you have to go out and do the thing everybody else is doing, but you have to be accessible, those things, and let them know that no matter what happens, you got them. And that you're also, even as a rookie, you're not afraid to speak out on something you disagree with and not worry about the backlash. Because being a leader is not popular all the time, man. You got to say stuff and do stuff that isn't overly popular. But if you waver on that, that's the quickest way to lose respect. The quickest way to gain it is to stand in there in tough times and get the hell beat out of you and get back up the next play and go get yourself some more. And it will happen regularly with the Raiders this year, I assure you.
You mentioned earlier about Gino coming in to ESPN, and I'm just wondering, in your time there, because I was doing game nights on the weekends for about 6 months, and I was always fascinated by the people that were there. I remember watching the Yankees in the World Series with Dennis Eckersley and talking to him, and I was just fascinated by the conversations that we had. You must have seen the creme de la creme coming in there and met some of the most amazing people that didn't work there, but that were there on site for whatever reason, whether it was making a promo or being interviewed, whatever. It had to be fascinating.
Oh, it was awesome. And I'll share a real quick story with you, and you'll appreciate this because it's a little older school, but it was, whether they're filming a commercial and they'd come in. I remember when Matthew McConaughey walked in and walked across from Sean, I love watching NFL Live, and hugged me in the room. It was like, man, this is really cool. Or when Bruce Willis had said something about, his favorite people, those that you remember. And it's not even you're infatuated with star power, because you and I in our job, you're around them all the time. But just when it's different, I'll tell you when I was infatuated or wow factor. David Wright came through there, the Mets fan. He was a great dude. They're all, it was just because you know what? They're also a little uncomfortable because they're not in their element. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
They watch Scott Van Pelt on TV and they want to meet Dan Patrick, right? So It was really cool to see them like that. Well, we're sitting in there, and Johnny Unitas had just got done with his book. Now, Grant, I get the chills thinking about this.
I watched him play, but go ahead.
When Johnny Unitas walked into the building with his brother, and he did the car wash, as we call it, go on NFL Live and on Sports Center and on ESPN News. He walked in that building, and even when you weren't in the same room, it was a different feeling. Johnny Unitas comes. Now, at ESPN, they know who that is, but you'll find out in society. You could go and say Johnny Unitas is some high school quarterback, has no idea who he is. But when they get hired, when they get hired, the PAs, the production assistants, they'll ask them, who led the league in goaltending last year in hockey? Because they're cutting tape for everybody. They do. So you got to know it. So the Unitas pulled weight, but he pulled weight with people who knew him too. And I've always admired, he walked into that building, and to make a long story short and going through, and you could just feel different people walking out. He walked into our NFL Live meeting at noon. And our executive producer, it was a room filled with 25 people. Unitas was sitting next to me, and we were getting ready to do NFL Live, and this was our production meeting. And I'll never forget Gus Ramsey, who runs Dan's sales school. Gus is the one who runs Dan's broadcast school. And he was a longtime producer and boss there, and a great dude. He stands up in front of the room, and we start talking about the topics we're going to discuss. And we talked about Brady or Manning. I know it was one of the two came up, and Johnny was sitting there. And Gus said, Sean, what do you think about this first segment? Which way should we go? And I said, or he asked for an opinion. I said, well, respectfully, let me defer right now, because we got number 19 sitting next. I'd like to hear Mr. Unitas first. And he said, Sean, call me John. Great. But it was just this feeling of, I felt, I played, but good gracious, I got one of the 3 greatest of all time sitting next to me who drew him up in the dirt. I just was saying, Gus was not meaning it this way. He wanted to let Johnny get settled in. I'm like, screw that. I want Unitas to talk. And we forged the conversation after that.
Did he have his black high tops on when he was there?
No, but I wish he would. He had a crew cut on. He had short hair. And we went through it, and he was brilliant talking football and just and I'm like, man, I've admired this guy.
Yeah.
He's Johnny Unitas, my dad's
I know.
Guy. So a couple months, 6 months, a year later, we're on an airport, walking through the airport, and I'm in Cincinnati. And I see Johnny. Johnny,
Oh, wow.
Sean, how you doing? And when we started talking about Chris Redmond, the quarterback of Louisville, who's I think his grandson. And so it's just the way it worked. But the point is that when Unitas was in the building, it felt like every time stopped. And
It's like
Grant,
a god
the one thing
walking
you'll
in.
respect, yes. I saw Johnny sign an autograph at the airport. And Grant, his hands and fingers, to talk about respect and understanding the people who went before you.
Mm.
He was signed autograph. If you can picture your pinky bent and your thumb barely being able to touch it, and just his fingers were so mangled from all the helmets he'd hit, and he didn't have the modern medicine. And he signed the autograph, and it hit me hard because he didn't complain. He was so generous to everybody.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, this guy's walking through with no security. It's Johnny Unitas. And I thought, you know what? The thing that blows my mind is if you don't know who Johnny Unitas is and you play this game and you're young, go find out, because his struggles of the mangled fingers, and I'm not meaning it in a bad way. I'm thinking the respect I have for a guy who he'd been through battles.
Oh, boy.
And you could see it in his hands and the scars and the way his fingers were beat. I mean, mine are bent sideways. All 10, I mean, it was like the sacrifices this cat made to play when they didn't have all the equipment.
Yeah.
I was like, and we had great conversation. Then a couple years later, he passed away, and I'll never forget sitting next to him and talking football, and then him remembering we talked football, and then seeing him sign an autograph. The most respect, because that guy, you want to talk about a football playing Jesse and a grown man, Johnny Unitas at the top of the list.
Sean, one of the great thrills of my childhood, I was blessed to grow up in a family that had season tickets to both the Giants and the Jets. So I was at an NFL game almost every week. To this day, and I'm 66, we're the same generation, one of the biggest thrills of my childhood was watching Johnny Unitas play in person at Shea Stadium against the Jets. And you knew you were going to watch greatness, and you knew you were watching a guy that was great. It didn't matter that I was a young kid. That was a thrill. I'll never forget it, Sean. I'll never forget it.
And I won't either. And you know, the other one about that, Grant, you mentioned Shea Stadium and Johnny as a Giant and the Jets. You realize if anybody said, Sean, who are the three athletes that you've met in your life that made you say, ooh, goodness? Stan Musial in baseball in person.
Wow.
Hey, I was like, whoa.
Wow.
This Stan, Johnny Unitas and Joe Namath. And for different reasons, but both engaging. When Joe walked in, the whole world stopped. Phenomenal. Engaging. Still got more personality than anybody in the league now, Namath does. So those two together, and when you said Shea Stadium, Jets and John, thinking, you know what? We could do a lot worse than having sit in a room and have a round table with Johnny Unitas if he was alive and Broadway.
You're right about that.
So every cleat, the cleats that I wore and the wristbands and the way I tugged on my shoulder pads, and I chose number 12 for one reason. Because of Broadway Joe. I even wore the same face mask. So for you to be able to see that group growing up, man, God bless you.
Privileged.
Those two guys were phenomenal. Yeah, no doubt.
Sean, you're the best. Talk to you next week, buddy. Be good. Bye-bye now.
Thanks for giving me an opportunity to share. See you, buddy.
I love it. What a segment. You don't like Sean Salisbury? You don't like Sports Talk Radio. Oh, boy. With that said, we'll take a break and come back right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are Aftershock, the West Coast's largest rock, metal, and punk festival, returns to Sacramento this October with My Chemical Romance. Tool. Limp Bizkit. Pierce the Veil. Plus, Suicide Boys, Queens of the Stone Age, The Offspring, A Day to Remember, Wu-Tang Clan, Sublime, Danny Elfman, Baby Metal, Public Enemy, Circa Survive, and so many more. 4 days, 135 plus bands, 5 stages. Aftershock takes over Discovery Park October 1st through 4th. My Chemical Romance, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Pierce the Veil. All 4 day, single day, and premium passes are on sale now, starting at only $1 down. Get yours at AftershockFestival.com.
Okay, we are running a car drive right now to help veterans all across America. So if you have an old car, truck, or van, even a motorcycle or an RV sitting around, you can right now give it away and help the vets. They really need your help. And your car will help support the vets and their families. And guess what? You even get a tax donation. Plus, we'll even come and pick up your car for free. And all you've got to do is pick up your phone right now and make a free call. Now is the perfect time to do something good for the vets. Give back to the vets right now for all they've done for this country. And your old car can really help them. So call the Veterans Car Donation Program right now for free pickup of your vehicle. Help the vets and help your taxes at the same time. Call right now.
800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. 800-598-0539. That's 800-598-0539.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Available at Expert Tires and Brakes, 5810 Auburn Boulevard.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and I dedicate a lot of my time going fast. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Always love having Sean Salisbury on. Great stuff. Let me update you on some scores that could possibly affect the NBA lottery. The Nets are at home. They are in front of the Bucks with a minute to go in the half, 49-42. The Timberwolves are beating the Pacers in Indiana. Early third, 73-58, and the Bulls are embarrassing the Wizards in D.C., 71-38. Wow. Now 71-40. That's early third quarter. Keep in mind, the Nets, 49-42, and the Jazz have started their game in New Orleans and up 25-22. Keep in mind the standings, because if the Nets were able to win that game, all right, they would go to 20-59. And if the Kings were to lose tonight, they would also have 59 losses at 21-59. Just throwing that out there. The Jazz, if you're a Kings fan, you want them to win. All right? The Kings and the Jazz have the same record. A's, they scored 3 times in the third inning, and they lead the Yankees now through 4 by the score of 3-1 as they open up that road trip in New York against the Yankees. So right now, a good start to this road trip. Can they hang on against that high-powered lineup of the Yankees? Nick Kurtz had a big one-out double with runners on second and third to put the A's on top 2-1. It is now top 5, and the Yankees and the A's, it's 3-1 A's. Again, top 5 with 2 outs. We'll keep you up to date on the baseball scoreboard. Sean talked about Johnny Unitas. Ryan, I will tell you, before you were born, but Johnny Unitas was somebody that when you knew you were going to watch play, you were like, you knew you were going to watch greatness.
That's pretty darn cool. I love that.
I mean, he's one of those players that, like right now, if you went to watch Steph Curry or LeBron James as a young kid, you would understand you're going to watch a legendary figure, right? Like you if you were 7 or 8 years old, you would know it would be a big deal for you.
Speaking of that, if you're going to the game on Friday night, assuming Steve Kerr does not sit everyone out.
Yeah.
Get to the game early as the doors open. If you have a son, a daughter that wants to see greatness and work ethic and consistency and see Steph Curry's warm up. It is
The doors open an hour before the game, correct?
Believe 90.
Yeah, it's an hour.
Is it an hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe. I don't want to put the wrong information out there, so you should double check that. I've always thought it was an hour, but I could be wrong.
I think it's 90 minutes, but
Okay.
I could be wrong as well.
Well, if it's 90 minutes, then that's even better.
But get there early. Steph usually comes out a little bit later, so you'll probably catch part of it. It's worth the price of admission on its own.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I've watched it many, many, many times. You're probably right. It probably is 90 minutes, but I don't want to give the wrong information out. Can you try to confirm that? Because I'd hate to give out the wrong information for somebody that's listening that might be trying to go to the final home game of the year.
You got it. On it.
Thank you. All right. Again, the A's lead by the score of 3-1. We've got just a little bit left here, and then we'll be on after the Kings and the Warriors tonight from San Francisco. I'll be doing the show with Jerry. Rhino will not be joining us tonight, but I will be on with Jerry, and we'll have the post-game show that is coming up for you roughly between 9:15 and 9:30. So hope you can join us. There's only 3 more shows. Hard to believe.
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Thank you very much. I appreciate that information.
And if you do go there on my and Grant's recommendations early, do not take a Tesla charger. That's bad karma. That would have been my charger. Okay? Thank you.
We'll keep that in mind, okay?
It's free. There's a number of chargers, Grant, where we park that's free.
Yeah.
That you can charge for free. They're not as fast as the superchargers, but that's like found money.
Okay.
Just telling you.
By the way, the New Orleans Pelicans tonight,
yes,
they're down 10 at the end of one to the Jazz. No Zion Williamson in this game. So
what's the point?
I know. Well, here's the point. You want to know what the point is? I'll tell you what the point is. Because of your 2,000 diehard New Orleans fans, they're going to the game that are paying money. They want to see you play.
Yeah,
that's the point. What do we have games for? That's the point. If you're healthy, you should be playing.
Yep. And to his credit, he's played a lot more games this season. Every time I hear the Jazz and the Wizards names, my stomach turns because what they've done this season is not right. It's just not cool. And I would say that if the Kings were the 2 seed in the West, I would be saying the exact same thing. It's not right.
The Jazz are starting 2 players tonight that I've never heard of. I don't even know how to pronounce their names.
It's just wrong. You get Jaren Jackson, and I guarantee you if Danny Ainge was handed a golden ticket, Grant, to the NBA Finals, Jaren Jackson would not have been having that surgery.
Well, I don't think Danny Ainge is happy with the score right now.
Well,
the Jazz leading 34-24 at the end of one.
3 more quarters to go, Grant. And only 20. What was the score? 25-21?
34-24 at the end of 1 quarter.
Okay. It's a high-scoring quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what, Ryan? There's 3 quarters left. So if you're a Kings fan, you're rooting for the Utah Jazz tonight. That's where we're at, Rhino.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. Okay? That's where we're at with 1 week left to go in the season. You're rooting for the Nets and you're rooting for the Jazz to win their games as we look at the NBA scoreboard because the Wizards, we're not going to catch them anyway. The Wizards are losing. They're getting embarrassed 74-47. The Pacers are down double digits at home in the third. The Nets lead the Bucks 49-43. And again, at the start of the second quarter, the Jazz lead the Pelicans 34-24. And still to come, the Kings and the Golden State Warriors from the Bay. San Francisco?
Do you think we're going to have to deal with as many Warrior fans on Friday since it's a back-to-back with the Warriors?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap up the show. Final segment straight ahead on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
It's the All Things Legal Show, heard every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Join your host, Craig Ashton, with an entertaining and eclectic view of all things legal. Saturday mornings from 8 to 9. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. Get them at Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue.
I'm retired and worried about the cost of food, medicine, and rent. BenefitsCheckup.org connected me to an extra $1,000 a month. Best of all, it's free. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Final segment. Getting ready for work a little bit later with the postgame show on YouTube and X as the Kings take on the Warriors. Giants and Phillies tonight. We'll talk about that contest tomorrow, beginning at 3 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. The A's, with one out in the 5th, are leading the Yankees 3-1. So we'll talk about that, the beginning of the road trip for the Athletics. Kings obviously recap tomorrow. The NBA recap, we'll see what happens with the Jazz and the Nets, who are both currently leading their respective games. That could affect, not could, but would in all likelihood, affect the standings as we get right down to the wire here. Getting right down to the wire, 3 games left. Now, the one thing that's going to hurt Sacramento as it relates to Brooklyn is they've played one less game. So even if they were to win tonight, you know, it's that one extra game that they have to play. You got to figure it's going to be a loss, or at least that's the way I'm looking at it. So we'll see. You know, we keep talking about the lottery, the odds, the way it works, the way it, as Ryan pointed out. Ryan, what did you say? 2018 is the last time the team with the worst record got the number 1 pick. Is that what you were saying?
2019, 2020.
2019. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a while. And we look at what happened last year with Dallas. We look at teams leapfrogging and getting, I mean, there's no rhyme or reason to this. So maybe we talk about it too much. But as I said, I'd rather have more odds than less odds, correct?
Yes. I'm with you. You'd like to have more odds, but I think you're not going to believe me. I'm going to get killed for this. But there's a karma element to this. Dallas loses Luka. The fan base is at their low. What happens? Karma comes through for them.
Yeah.
They get that number 1 pick. The Kings have tanked the right way for the most part. Hopefully that puts them above the Jazz and the Wizards.
Okay. Well, I hope your line of thinking is spot on.
It's just, what's so funny is how you, as a Kings fan, if you are still watching, watch and consume the product. Because you want your team to play well, but you don't want them to win.
Yeah.
It's really
you want
weird.
the game to be close with 2 minutes left and then lose.
Yes.
I got you.
Yeah.
Can't really blame anyone for that, can you?
No, that's why I'm saying it's bizarre. Like, this entire year has just been bizarre. Is it one of the more bizarre seasons you can remember?
It is. I'd put it right up there at the top of the list.
Yeah.
83-50 Bulls over the Wizards. Now the Timberwolves have opened up a 20-point lead on Indiana. The Nets are at the break, leading the Bucks 49-43. And the Jazz lead the Pelicans 43-36. 6 minutes, 40 seconds left to go in that second quarter. The scoreboard. By the way, you have how many picks tonight in your prize picks? What is your total of? You doing 3? Is it 3?
No, I only went 2. I went the LaMelo Ball more than 12.5 points. He's already hit that.
Okay.
Davion Mitchell is kind of hurting me right now. 3 fouls, no rebounds. He needs more than 1.5 rebounds to win on that. And if you would like a Kings prize picks, Taco Tuesday, Kevin Durant, more than 14.5 points.
Okay.
Max Reynaud, more than 6.5 rebounds. Dylan Cardwell, more than half of a block.
Yeah, I think that's all going to happen. Yeah.
Well, you'd think Davion Mitchell would have a 2-rebound night. He hasn't had anything less than 2 rebounds in the last 5-6 games. So we'll see.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Heat right now are trailing the Raptors at the half. That score is 64-51. And Davion Mitchell, as you said, right now has no rebounds, 3 assists, and 9 points.
He's not playing bad. He's just,
right.
in foul
trouble. He's not
trouble.
doing what Rhino needs him to do. That's what he's trying to say.
I want to come through. It's not about me. I want to come through for those who have joined me on Prize Picks.
A lot of people are, and I'm happy because they're looking at your success and are like, let's do it. Let's team up. Team Ryan. Team Ryan.
I mean, Napes, you're right there with me. It's Team Us.
No. It's Team Ryan. Stop it. It's Team Ryan. So, yeah, you're doing it. Absolutely. The A's get out of a little bit of a jam in the 5th. Yankees had 2 men on, runners on second and third, but they get the out, and now that game is going into the 6th as they hang on by the score of 3-1. As we said, the Giants and the Phillies, you have to wonder if they're going to be able to get back on track, and if so, like when, as they continue to fall further down in the West. All right, this message. Grant, would you agree that if Doug came back as head coach, Kings are looking to tank? No, I wouldn't agree with that at all. I don't think the Kings are going to enter next year thinking that they're throwing in the towel before the season starts. No, I don't believe that at all.
Okay,
First of all, it's not Doug's mentality. Doug can't do that because that's not who he is. It's not the fabric of his being. So that could never happen.
Okay, bold prediction. More or less than 20 minutes tonight for Malik Monk?
Less.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
So who's going to be the Kings' leading scorer tonight with DeMar out?
I'm going to say Max Reynaud.
Okay.
What about you?
Precious.
Okay.
I think Daquan will have a decent night tonight, too.
Okay. Where do you see him in the NBA?
You know,
what's his ceiling? What's the realistic? Like, what do you think?
Kind of along the same lines of Anik Clifford, but a little bit more useful defensively. His athleticism's off the charts, but his offense, the three, leaning too much on that. He needs to grow that side of his game, but just one of those hustle effort guys that will surprise you with their athleticism. So I think he's an NBA player, but you got to give him some more time. Maybe 10, 12, 15 minutes a night at best.
Okay. By the way, speaking of the Bowling Green product, I heard from Scott Pollard. He's already made his plane reservations. The wife and their youngest son going out to Honolulu
Lovely.
to watch the powerful Rainbows of Hawaii take on the Hornets of Sacramento State in the last game of the year in Honolulu for the Hawaii Rainbows.
That's
That is Sac
awesome.
State's. I mean, not only is Sac State going to travel across the country for their road games against the MAC, while you're at it, you might as well go to Hawaii. So they're doing that at the end of the year.
And then they'll be paying for Hawaii to come to Sac State next year. Is that correct?
I have not seen that. I don't know if that's true or not.
Okay.
I don't know if that's part of the deal. I can't imagine Hawaii going to play at Sac State.
Oh, Hawaii's not in the MAC. Excuse me.
No.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, in terms of their non-conference agreement, no, I don't believe that is the case. But anyway, as far...
What about Notre Dame? That's they signed a 12-game...
You remember April Fool's. What did I tell you?
That was a late breaker,
Well, because
though.
you're a Notre Dame guru and your dream would be, I get that. I understand how that would just completely take you by storm. I understand that.
Well,
I'm not even going to get on your case for that.
Well, okay. So Mac, you think I like Notre Dame? Mac is like 3 times more dialed in. So when that came from him, I'm like, uh-oh. And then I, about 5 minutes of due diligence, sniffed it out.
All right. You just had your moment there.
Oh, I had a moment for sure. Yeah. But then when I'm thinking, wait, it's going to be even on the home and away side.
Oh, my gosh.
Can you imagine Notre Dame in Sacramento?
Some people are gullible. I don't know what to tell you. As I was sitting here slamming, stop.
Very true.
I try to help you. Jazz are now on top 51-49. So that game has gotten tight in New Orleans with 3:40 left to go in the half. The Nets, their lead is only 4 now over the Bucks, 51-47. Pacers getting blown out at home. Wizards getting blown out at home. Both those teams I'm projecting to lose. So keep an eye on the Nets and the Jazz. Update from Yankee Stadium. The A's are leading the Yankees by the score of 3-1, that ball game in the 6th. And then we'll wait for the outcome of the Giants and the Phillies tonight. The Masters. Let's talk some golf tomorrow. You have your project for tonight is to tell me who's going to win the Masters tomorrow. We're going to make our Masters predictions tomorrow, Rhino, okay? Who is going to be wearing the green jacket this year?
Can't wait.
Yeah. Are you going to go with one of the favorites, or are you going to pick somebody that's like on the second tier that you think could vault up there and contend on the back nine on Sunday, be right there?
I haven't looked at the list of odds for the tournament.
Okay.
I will do that, but who would you consider like a second tier? Would that be a
Ludwig Oberg?
Oberg, okay.
Yeah, I think he's got a really good chance of being and contending because he normally keeps the ball in play and out of trouble. So he's got, I think, the prettiest swing on tour. He was contending, as you know, at the Players' Championship and then fell apart on Sunday after being in control. He's due. And when I mean he's due, he's been there. He's such a smooth-looking player. And as I said, he normally will stay out of trouble. And so I could see him navigating that course well enough to be in contention on Sunday.
And what about the names like Justin Rose and Adam Scott, guys that know the course?
You can never, ever, ever, ever count out Justin Rose.
They're always right there. And Adam's won it.
Always there.
Yeah.
Oh, both those guys, especially Rose, can never. And then you have to wonder if Bryson DeChambeau, who's been knocking on the Masters door, right?
Yeah. Nobody's talking about Jordan Spieth.
Yeah, I don't think Jordan right now he doesn't seem to be able to put 4 rounds together.
But maybe the Masters is the place that changes that, right?
Well, maybe, but we've been saying that every year for a long time, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah. This is going to be fun to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah.
A lot of
And then what do you think a relaxed Rory McIlroy will do? I mean, he's got the Grand Slam. He's the defending champ. He doesn't have the pressure on him this year.
It's a great question. Did you do your homework and watch that documentary that I told you about?
Not yet, but I'm going to. Okay. It is because I decided to do my homework after you do yours, and you don't have your passport. You haven't watched Cool Hand Luke. You haven't watched Shawshank Redemption. So I'm like, if he doesn't do his, I'm not doing mine.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. You're supposed to not follow the lead of bad influences.
That's the story of my life, okay? So thank you for that.
Stop it. Hey, at least you got into that common sense class. It was full.
I did.
By the time I
Bowling
tried
Green
to rush
gave me
it.
that's the Bowling Green State University. I majored in common sense. That's exactly right. So when I hear an 11-year agreement between Bowling Green and Notre Dame, I laugh and I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Okay. Okay. All right. Don't forget tonight, post-game show over on YouTube and X. Jerry Reynolds will join me. We'll talk about the Kings and the Warriors about 9:15 or 9:30. Back doing it again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Looking forward to it. Olden Holidays. Never a dull moment with OP. That's tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Make it a good evening, everybody. Stay safe. My thanks to Sean Salisbury. And for Rhino in Sacramento, Ryan in Sacktown, Grant Napear saying so long and thanks for listening to Fox Sports Sacramento. Bye-bye now.